not so many Reading shirts, but there are some.
Thank you, Steve, and welcome to listeners on the BBC World Service as well. So, it all comes down to this, the last day of the WSL. Chelsea playing for the title, Reading fighting for survivals. And we have reporters across the country, and we'll keep you up to date of any goals going in elsewhere on this, the final day of the WSL. I'm delighted to say that joining me for this final game is former Tottenham captain Jenna Schillaci. Afternoon, Jenna. Another season coming to a close. A familiar position for Chelsea.
Yeah, back in the driving seat again. They know this feeling all too well, the most experienced in the game, and it's all in their hands now. And, you know, I've been watching the warm-ups. They look absolutely on it.
They do. So the players from both sides are out. We're about to get underway. Both sides take the knee to the applause of the fans in the Select Car Leasing Stadium. It's a marvellous sunny afternoon here in Berkshire. And we are underway then. Chelsea made no changes to the squad that lined up against Arsenal last weekend and dispatched them, winning by 2-0. Reading, they make 4 changes, including the inclusion of Deanne Rose. She hasn't started a game since the start of the season, the first game of the season where she ruptured her Achilles. She's back in the side, and she offers a glimmer of hope for Reading, perhaps, Jenna?
Yeah, she does. I mean, I've been really unfortunate with injuries this season, so it's good to see her back on the pitch, and that's a massive plus for this Reading team who've been struggling with goals, albeit a little bit too late to have her on the pitch now. But if anyone can cause an upset, it's a player of Rose's quality. But just looking at the Reading, how they're setting up, they're going defensively, back 5.
Yeah, it's attack versus defence. We've played 1 minute, and it's all the Chelsea players all in Reading's half. Reading in 2 banks of 4. Lauren James now on the ball. We know what she can do when she's got the ball at her feet. Sets it back to Ingle, switches it out, and then it's fired forward and out of play for a goal kick. Let me run through the lineups for you then. So Reading, the home side, as I said, they make 4 changes. In goal, Grace Maloney. A back 4 of Maya Keith, Cooper, Evans and Emma McCandy, the captain for Reading. We've then got Jade Moore and Hendricks in the midfield alongside Van Havermaet, Eichland and Rose and Harries up top. As for Chelsea, as I said, no changes from them, and this is probably their strongest starting 11, do you think, Jenna? Berger, Charles, Eriksson, Mjelde and Perisset in defence, Ingle and Cuthbert, and then a front 4, a devastating front 4 of Wrighton, Harder, James and Sam Kerr.
I mean, that front 4 is petrifying, isn't it? Especially if Reading's task today is to not concede against that quality. It's going to be a massive, massive task for them.
Reading 0, Chelsea 0. You are listening to 5 Sports Extra, BBC Sounds and BBC World Service, as a ball is played over the top, looking for Sam Kerr to run on to. She was fouled in the process. Chelsea free kick.
You just see there how frightening they are, Chelsea on the counter-attack. Harder just won the ball close to the halfway line. Sam Kerr doing what she does best, making those run, the ball over the top, and it was a clever foul in the end by Cooper, I think it was.
Cooper, previously of Chelsea as well, plays now for Reading at the heart of their defence. And I can see Perisset and Wrighton over this free kick. 35-40 yards out. Plenty of players in the Chelsea golden kit, chicken nugget kit I like to call it. It's that colour, that golden chicken nugget colour, lining up on the edge of the box as this free kick is about to get taken. It's played into the box, headed clear, kept alive, but McCandy leaves it for Rose, who will try and run it out from the box. She runs it straight into Lauren James. James opts to go back to Perisset.
Rose and McCandy, just no communication there. I think there in them instance, this early on in the match, McCandy should just get her foot through that and clear the danger. Instead she doesn't. Chelsea back in possession.
Erin Cuthbert on the ball for Chelsea, midway inside the Reading half. Switches the play out to Niamh Charles on the left-hand side. Niamh Charles with the delivery, and Reading let that roll out of play for another goal kick for Grace Maloney. It's worth mentioning as well that just ahead of this game there was a little guard of honour for Kelly Chambers. She's celebrating 20 years involved in Reading. What a manager she's been for them, Jenna. She's been manager, she's been director of football, she's been physio at some time. She's done every role at the club.
Yeah, a massive part of this Reading family, isn't she? And the job she's done in the recent seasons, given the situation that obviously the club finds themselves in, it's quite phenomenal really, given on the limited resources that they have compared to the other WSL teams, that they still are in this league. You know, so last couple of seasons they've been in and around the bottom, but they've always found a way out. I think maybe this season the investment and how other teams are growing and investing has finally caught up with them.
But if they win today and Leicester drop points, they can survive and stay in the WSL. Kelly Chambers, acknowledging how that would be somewhat of a miracle to happen, did say that if Reading win and a Reading player gets the goal, gets the winner, she'll name her child after that. She's pregnant, she's about to go on maternity leave. So we could have a baby Emma Harries, a baby Deanne Rose. But I was thinking, Jenna, what if it's an own goal? What if it's a Chelsea player?
Yeah, she might have to rethink that.
What if it comes off the back of Anne-Katrin Berger's head?
She'll have to stick to her word then.
Will she call her baby the back of Anne-Katrin's head? So Chelsea coming forward down the right-hand side. It's back in field with Sophie Ingle. Finds the feet of Lauren James, turns into danger. I was about to say dispossessed. She is dispossessed. Very rare to say that about Lauren James. So good in possession usually. Reading have it though in the middle of the field. It's with Van Havermaet, the long imposing figure. It's back with Justine Van Havermaet. She's on the edge of the box from a wide angle. She's got Rose back. She goes back to Deanne Rose in the box. Deanne Rose with the shot blocked. Picked up now by Lauren James, but Reading with a chance. Still goalless here. We've played 5 minutes. Hit up to Pernilla Harder. She knocks it over the Reading player, tries to go round her, loses possession. It's now back with Reading. A rare foray forward for Reading and a half chance, Jenna.
It was good combination play in the final third. Deanne Rose there just had. They didn't really commit too many bodies forward. They were a bit isolated in the penalty box. So Rose has gone for the shot at the top of the penalty box and just smashed the ball into a defender. But I think that might be the common theme when Reading do get higher up the pitch. Are they brave enough to send the numbers up or sit back and just try and deal with, in case they lose possession, that counter-attack that Chelsea have, and they have it at such pace.
And as we mentioned earlier in the programme, the last time these two sides met here at the Select Car Leasing Stadium in the league, Reading actually won by 1-0. An early Deanne Rose goal was the difference. We've got a Reading player down at the moment in the centre of the park, just getting a bit of treatment. So Reading can beat Chelsea. They've done it before. They did it here last season. It's not impossible, Jenna.
No, it's not. And, you know, anything's possible in football, and especially in this league, like we've seen during this season. But, you know, last game of the season, fighting for survival, the last team you want to see on that sheet is against Chelsea. They've just come into form at the right time. That we said earlier in the pre-show, they're just scoring for fun. And when you look at that front line and then the players that Chelsea have on the bench, it's frightening.
So there's been a goal at Prenton Park then between Liverpool and Manchester United. Maz Faruqi.
No goals yet here, Flo, still goalless, but United on the cusp with the majority of the possession, unsurprisingly, in a match they need to win to have any chance. A couple of good set-piece opportunities for them, and Letizia shot blocked from the D as well. Still goalless, but Manchester United on top.
Thanks, Maz. Chelsea coming forward. Guru Wrighton can't get under control. Goal kick for Reading.
I think we're seeing with the back line, 5 at the back, it's going to be really difficult for Chelsea to try and break through the central areas. So at the minute they're just looking for that long ball over the top, and the quality's not quite there yet, just putting a little bit too much on the ball.
8 minutes played here, still Reading 0, Chelsea 0 on 5 Sports Extra and the BBC World Service. Reading play the ball out into the space on the left wing. A foul is committed on a Reading player. Free kick for Reading in the centre circle. A reminder as well that you can watch highlights of this game and all the other games at 11:20 this evening on BBC One. Good crowd here at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. Over on that far stand opposite us. Those in the front rows are lucky enough to be in the sun, the rest of them in the shade like us, and it's such a wonderful sunny afternoon here in Berkshire. So Reading free kick, still goalless. We've played 9 minutes. Eikeland hits the ball off Erin Cuthbert. Emily Eikeland made her 100th appearance for Reading last weekend against Spurs. She was celebrated before the game as well. Ball rolls out for a Chelsea goal kick. Maren Mjelde into Sophie Ingle. Got the third highest appearance rate out of all players in the WSL. This is her 178th appearance in the WSL. And every season I think Chelsea might get another upgrade in midfield, get another player, replace her, but every year she's always there, and she's always just as good as she was last year.
Yeah, she's world-class talent, isn't she? They have the best players in the world in this team. It's hard to upgrade sometimes.
Sam Kerr on the ball, slots it back to Lauren James on the edge of the box. James with the shot, flies over the bar for a Reading goal kick. First good chance for Chelsea, and it comes from the pink boots of Lauren James.
Yeah, Kerr did well there, running over behind the defenders, held the ball up well and just lays it off to Lauren James just on the edge of the penalty box. And we've seen Lauren James fire them home from that distance, but just leaning back when she struck the ball, and it's gone over the bar.
Let's get an update then from the Brighton-Leicester game. Paul Scott.
12 minutes played here. It's still Brighton 0, Leicester 0. Brighton, the home side, having the better of the early chances. Elizabeth Turlin, their leading scorer, with a fancy flick from 6 yards that was blocked. And then Kaylee Green, on her final appearance for the club, blazing over from 20 yards. It's Brighton 0, Leicester 0.
Thanks, Paul. 10 minutes played here on BBC 5 Sports Extra. Reading 0, Chelsea 0 on this, the last day of the WSL season. Chelsea playing for the title, Reading fighting for survival. And they've got a throw in just inside Chelsea's half. It's thrown down the line. Can Van Havermet get onto it? No, she can't. The imposing, tall, slender figure of Justine Van Havermet. Been a mainstay in the starting 11 for Reading this season. It's thrown again towards her, cleared. And Lucifara's Moore, who manages to find Cooper. Cooper plays it off the foot of Niamh Charles, out for another Reading throw-in.
It's a good area now. I wonder if they can just pin the ball, hold the ball up, make this count in these areas. They only left Kerr up. There's 3 defenders back to deal with her, so they can be brave now.
Reading throw the ball into the box. It's cleared, and then Hendricks dinks it forward for Eikeland. Eikeland can't get the cross away, and it's cleared by Chelsea, out for another Reading throwing. A good spell of Reading possession though in these early stages.
It was a good ball, just in between the defenders, and now Rose is back on the ball out here on the right hand side.
She's got 2 Chelsea players on her back. She's out by the corner flag. Kicked out for a Reading throw, and I tell you what, she looks up for it, Deanne Rose, doesn't she? She looks electric.
She does. She's fit. I mean, her pace is electric, and we've seen some signs of that early on in this first half.
Oh, how Reading wish they'd have her all season. That injury at the start, a real blow. Reading have the ball in the box. It is cleared upfield. Deanne Cooper heads it back to Hendricks, who probably didn't want that header back to her, but she manages to get it back to her goalkeeper, who hits it long. Eriksson beats Van Havermet in the air, and it's then picked up in the centre circle by Harder, who guides it to Lauren James. Lauren James spins away from a challenge, finds Guru Reiten on this left-hand side. Guru Reiten infield to Cuthbert. Cuthbert then switches it out to Perisset, played in to Harder. Harder back to Perisset. Can she find the delivery? Hits it across goal. Sam Kerr volleys over from 5 yards. Wow, I thought the net was about to bulge. I thought Chelsea were about to take the lead, but Sam Kerr missed from 5 yards out.
Wow, you put money on her to score from there. It's probably one of the easiest opportunities. The ball was whizzed in from Perisset. It's out on the right hand side with such pace. She's gone to take it first time, just fires it over the bar. Real let off there by Reading.
Just won the Writers Footballer of the Year award for the 2nd year in a row, Sam Kerr. She won't want to watch that one back again. But the thing is with Sam Kerr, she gets so many chances and she puts so many away. That won't knock her confidence.
No, not at all. She'll get crack on now, and the ball like that comes in again. She'll make no mistake of it. We've seen it time and time again, but that was a great team move. The switch of play from Cuthbert deep in the midfield area to find Perisset out on the right hand side, who had so much space out there.
So Reading escape, still Reading 0, Chelsea 0 on this, the final day of the WSL. Reading have a free kick. Deanne Cooper will take this on the halfway line. She fires it forward. It's Sam Kerr with the headed clearance. Offside flag up. Free kick for Chelsea just in front of their own box. And let's have an update from Meadow Park. Chris Coles.
Aston Villa 0, Flo. Fairly sedate start to this one in the glorious sunshine. Arsenal dominating possession. They're seeing all of the ball, and the first half chance of the game was theirs. Stina Blackstenius, right foot little flick from 6 yards, didn't get the right contact, and the ball squirmed to safety. Arsenal 0, Villa 0.
Thank you, Chris. Sophie Ingle on the ball for Chelsea. Plays a forward straight ball into Pernilla Harder. She plays it out to Perisset. Perisset cuts it back to James on the corner of the box. Lauren James with her socks slung low. It's back now with Ingle. Ingle finds James again on the edge of the box. Shakes off one challenge, shoots. That's blocked by Hendricks. Chelsea still have it though with Niamh Charles. Driving towards the byline, challenge comes in, and it will be the first corner of the game for Chelsea.
Lauren James, when she receives that ball out from the right hand side and cuts across into the penalty box, that's where she's so dangerous. Almost like the ball's actually glued to her foot. She had challenges coming in, she managed to evade them, but still she keeps control of that ball.
Chelsea corner. Guru Wrighton with the delivery. Goes over everybody. Cuthbert with the volley. Hits a defender. Chelsea still coming forward. Cuthbert with the shot. Palmed onto the crossbar and then fired over. Flag is up. Reading escape again.
Oh, you feel like Chelsea are really finding their flow now. Lovely combination play in the penalty box. Another chance of smashing off the bar.
Let's have an update then from the Manchester City-Everton game. Tom Gale.
Where it's 0-0, Flo. The visitors in their yellow shirts chasing shadows. So much City possession. They've come close. Deep cross. Chloe Kelly wide right. Lauren Hemp's looping header clipped the top of the bar. Man City 0, Everton 0.
Elsewhere in East London, it is West Ham 0, Tottenham 0 as well in the WSL on this last day. 0-0 here between Reading and Chelsea. Lauren James midway inside the Reading half. The ball at her feet, gliding forward. Square pass out to Charles. Charles knocks it to Cuthbert. Cuthbert with the long range shot. Hits a Reading player in the box. Calls for handball, not given. Played out to Perisset on the right. Goes back to Ingle. Ingle central to Cuthbert. Cuthbert 30 yards out, goes back to captain Magdalena Eriksson. She slides it out to Niamh Charles. Death ball into the box for Wrighton. Wrighton digs out delivery. Header comes in from Sam Kerr, and this time she doesn't miss. She heads it into the back of the net to give Chelsea the lead.
Wow, it's that combination again between Wrighton and Kerr. We've seen it so many times this season. Really patient build-up from right to left from Chelsea. Delicious ball into the area, and again Sam Kerr. Excellent run to the front post and nods it home from point blank range.
Reading 0, Chelsea 1. Sam Kerr with the finish. Guru Wrighton with the assist. How many times have we said that this season? Those two for Chelsea have been absolutely incredible, and Reading are staring down the barrel of relegation. Chelsea looking at the WSL trophy.
Yeah, it's that Wrighton. I think she's been probably one of the players of the season for me. Quality of her assists, scoring as well. Sam Kerr wouldn't be scoring the amount of goals she is without her teammates, and Wrighton for me has been a key player for Chelsea this season.
Can Reading react immediately? They've got the ball in the Chelsea attacking third. Chelsea win it back though. It's now with Justin Van Havermaet. She tries to lob it over. Charles looking for Rose. Charles will just shield that out of play. Goal kick for Chelsea. And you do feel that once Chelsea get a goal ahead, Jenna, it's tough to come back.
Yeah, it is tough, but now it's important, this Reading team, they regrouped. They can't afford to concede another one now so quickly after conceding the first. That is when they're likely to slip up. But yeah, I think as the game is going on now, Chelsea are really starting to enjoy the ball and been in full possession really.
Long ball up to Deanne Rose. She does well to get in front of Eriksson, shield it, bring it down. She's got it under control now. Up against Charles. Charles gets the foot in, prevents the run, but gives away the throw-in to Reading in front of Emma Hayes, who's up in her technical box shouting instructions at her players, as is Kelly Chambers chatting to her defenders. It'll be Maya Keith with this throw-in for Reading. The Reading right back throws it forward, cleared by Charles, flicked on by Harder, right, and then finds the feet of Kerr. It's now with Lauren James. She always looks so cool and relaxed on the ball, a little bit too relaxed there though, and then Niamh Charles manages to get away from danger. Reading win it back though, and Lauren James fouls the Reading player. Free kick for Reading.
Yeah, I think you see Emma Hayes having a word with James there. As you say, a little bit too relaxed. She is so calm and composed on the ball. Didn't work out for her that time.
20 minutes played here in Berkshire. It is Reading 0, Chelsea 1. A reminder, if it ends like this, Chelsea will win the WSL and Reading will be relegated. So Deanne Cooper with this free kick from the right hand side, 5 yards inside Chelsea's half. She's going to opt to float this into the box. She does, lifts it towards the penalty spot. Header comes up. Chelsea clear. Hendricks keeps it alive on the left hand side, goes back to McCandy. McCandy skips past some pressure. She whips the ball into the box, and there is Van Havermaet to head over. She drops to her knees. That was a gilt-edged chance. All she had to do was guide it into the corner. She guided it over.
Wow, McCandy done so well there out on the left hand side. The delivery was excellent. It was on a plate. Van Havermaet just couldn't direct it on target, and it's gone wide. That's a real opportunity, and for Reading, I don't think they're going to get too many of those opportunities this game, so it's so vitally important that when they do find themselves with opportunities that they make them count.
Had to get that on target. Chelsea now have the ball and they are attacking with Guru Wrighton. Played through to Cuthbert. Cuthbert evades the challenge. It takes it a little bit too far and she's lost the ball. It's back though with Niamh Charles. Reading can't get out into Guru Wrighton's feet. Down this left-hand side. Cuthbert with the delivery. It's fallen now for Wrighton. She whips it across goal. Falls for Lauren James. Shoots with her left foot. Well over the target. Goal kick for Reading. Let's go to Prenton Park then. Maz Faruqi, how has that goal gone down there?
Not very well, with the packed stand to my left, which is home today to the Manchester United fans. Very subdued. Their team has had lots of possession without creating an awful lot clear cut, and Liverpool playing through Shanice van der Sanden very well on the counter. A couple of times she's almost got through. Ella Toone picking up a yellow for bringing her down in the centre circle. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0, 21 minutes on the clock.
Thanks, Maz. Here, 22 minutes on the clock. Reading 0, Chelsea 0. Elsewhere as well, Jenna, you'll be pleased to hear that Tottenham have taken the lead against West Ham. Bethany England with another goal.
Never in doubt, Flo. Never in doubt.
She scores every game she plays. Diane Rose goes under a challenge here, not given. Reading still have the ball though with Hendricks. She plays it down the line for Eikeland, up against Eriksson. Through the legs of Eriksson for Rose, but it's cut out well by Charles. Charles then dinks it forward, flicked on. Sam Kerr then with the flick on to Harder, who's pulled down. Free kick for Chelsea on the halfway, and that was a cynical challenge. Just grabbed her arm and pulled her to the floor.
Yeah, I don't think Moore can have any complaints there. Again, we just see Kerr dropping deep to hold up the play. Lovely little combination with Harder, and Harder was off. Obviously Jade Moore knew she couldn't compete pace-wise and had to bring her down. Take one for the team there.
Free kick for Chelsea, just over the halfway line in the left-hand channel. Eriksson goes square to Mara Mielda. Mielda forward to Ingle, out now to Niamh Charles, who recently made her 100th appearance for Chelsea. I always think of her as such a young player, but she's already racked up so many appearances. Chelsea on the attack. Cuthbert's ball cut out and it's fired forward. Rose to fight for the ball up against Eriksson. She loses out. Chelsea have it with Mielda in the centre circle. They are leading Reading by a goal to 0 here, midway through this first half. Lauren James with the ball out on the right-hand side. Just teasing the defender, asking her to come and dive in so she can slide past her. Ingle into Kerr. Kerr's ball around the corner, can't find the teammate, and then it's hit long for Rose to chase up against Eriksson. I think Rose is going to be doing a lot of running this afternoon, Jenna.
She is. I think as the striker, these are the games they're horrible to play in. You know, she's going to have to spend a lot of time without the ball, and she is that outlet for her team. And with her pace, Reading always have that hope that they can get a goal back. But yeah, it's one of those frustrating games for strikers, not going to have much time on the ball at all.
Reading throw in on the right-hand side, midway inside Chelsea's half. Little sliver of the ground that's in the shade. Maya Keith has it at her feet, plays it out to Eichland. She's dispossessed by Charles. Chelsea nip back, win the ball and win a throw-in. A reminder that you're listening to 5 Sports Extra. This is Reading Chelsea. It's Reading 0, Chelsea 1 on BBC Sounds and all around the world on the BBC World Service as well. Niamh Charles with the throw-in to Sophie Ingle. Ingle forward to James, touches it with her left, plays it out with her right to Eve Perisset, receives the ball back. James goes in field to Ingle, it's then out to Perisset again. Back with Ingle with the turquoise boots, spreads the play out to Niamh Charles. Into Wrighton, whose ball's intercepted. Reading now have it on the edge of their own box. Emily Eichland, can she carry it forward? And she plays it forward to Rose. Rose has got Eriksson on her back, manages to turn away from her, does well. Plays it in field to Emma Harries. Harries then looking for the through ball, cut out well by Mjelde.
Yeah, the quality there from Harries wasn't good enough. Rose had made the run, just couldn't pick the pass. But Chelsea have been so patient in possession. Reading, they've got the back 5 and the midfield 4 set in the central area of the pitch, so the space is out wide, but they're moving the ball so well, patiently. They're not forcing anything, and then the space is out wide now with Charles again.
Charles plays it in field to Wrighton on the edge of the box. Wrighton back to Charles now with Erin Cuthbert. She tries to slide it in, and it's cut out. Reading now have it with Rose. Rose trying to carry out of danger, slips on the ball though, and Chelsea will come again. Harder tries to play the through ball, threaded through to James, cut out by McCandy, fired forward, brought down by Magda Eriksson at the heart of the Chelsea defence. Reading 0, Chelsea 1, 26 minutes played. Lauren James, bright pink boots. Our commentary position here, we're high up in the sky, but even from here I can see the pink shiny boots. Eriksson goes out to Charles on this left-hand side. As you mentioned, Jenna, Chelsea not in a hurry. They're happy to play the ball around left to right, wait for openings in the Reading defence. It's back with Lauren James. Threads it through to Harder, lets it run across her body, but can't get on to her own through balls. Cut out by McCandy, throw in for Chelsea. Ingle plays it into the feet of James, can't control it in the box, and McCandy clears. Chelsea still coming forward. They've got it with Eriksson.
Chelsea in total control now. Almost feels like it's a bit of a training game feel out there for Chelsea. The gaps will open if they're patient. Reading are obviously just defending their box, the width of the box.
Pernilla Harder tries to slide it in to Kerr. Out comes Grace Maloney to grasp the ball. So let's go to the Broadfield Stadium then. Paul Scott, Leicester surviving as things stand.
Yes, it's a Brighton 0, Leicester 0 here, 29 minutes on the clock. But with Chelsea leading against Reading, it means the pressure is slightly off Leicester, and the visitors have had the better of the chances since you were last with me. Hannah Kane with a really good opportunity, but she dragged her left-footed shot wide from 17 yards. And then Missy Goodwin capitalising on a slip at the back from Guru Bergsband. She too, though, sending her left-footed shot wide of the left-hand post. It's Brighton 0, Leicester 0. As it stands, Leicester staying up.
Thanks, Paul. Incredible from Leicester, really. No points at Christmas. They lost their first 9 WSL games and they're going to escape, Jenna.
I mean, it's unreal, isn't it? I think since the turn of the year, Willie Kirk has done a fantastic job, and their performances have improved game by game. But yeah, considering pre-Christmas where they had 0 points on the board, to see where they are now, and potentially if this result stays as it is, they live to survive another year in the WSL.
But Leicester City's gain will be Reading's fall. They are trailing by a 0 to Chelsea here, and as things stand, they will be relegated after 8 years in the WSL. Chelsea playing the ball around the park here with ease. Eve Perisset, the ball at her feet. Signed in the summer from Bordeaux. Ingle now plays it out to Charles. Charles plays it into the box with her right foot, headed clear only so far as Ingle, who then finds Perisset. Perisset goes back to Sophie Ingle. She goes square to James. James central, 30 yards out, tries to find the feet of Harder. It's cut out. It's now with Havermat. She plays a long ball forward to Rose, steps forward. Mielder to clear that and fire that forward, looking for Harder. Chelsea wing it back though, and they will build again with Ingle. Her long ball is too straight, and that's cut out. It's now back with Eriksson.
You got to feel sorry for Rose out there, haven't you? She's chasing down everything. I think she's clocked up a few miles out there today, but she's just not getting the ball when Reading do win it back. They're not looking after the ball. They're not even trying to find really Rose at all. She's having to do a lot of hard graft up there.
She certainly is, and I do wonder if Reading get relegated. I think there'll be a couple of WSL teams that will be keen to get her on their books.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they do have some quality players within their team. But yeah, definitely for me, I think Rose would be a player that could go on and stay in the WSL and do a good job for another team.
So off to Prenton Park then, Liverpool up against Manchester United. Maz Faruqi.
It's half an hour on the clock here, still goalless between Liverpool and Manchester United. We've had a pause in play. Nikita Parris caught by Bonner in a challenge, and still just the one shot on target from both sides. That header from Parris straight at the Liverpool keeper. And as it stands, as you've been saying, Flo, Manchester United missing out on the WSL title at the moment. They are only drawing here 0-0.
Throw in for Chelsea. Erin Cuthbert gives it to Niamh Charles to take. Yeah, I was quite surprised when I saw that Niamh Charles made 100 appearances for Chelsea. Jenna, I was thinking of her as a really young player. She's 23, but she's racked up so many games already.
Yeah, it does feel like she's been around forever, isn't it? Emma Hayes really trusts her. She's a player that she really backs, and you know, season by season she's getting more starts, and has been very consistent for Emma Hayes and this Chelsea team this season.
Sophie Ingle on the ball for Chelsea, slides it out to Perisset.
Just going back to Charles, sorry, she's also added goals to her game. Recently she's been on the score sheet, which is always a bonus for a defending player.
Reading trying to pass the ball out from the back, and Maya Keithops just whack it long out for a throw-in. And while there is a throw-in, let's go to Meadow Park then. Chris Coles, an update from you.
Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0, still really waiting for the game's first opportunity. Villa coming back into things though, they're keeping more of the ball, they're forcing an opportunity here, well cleared by Raphael. Arsenal continue to keep most of the ball, but as I say, meagre chances so far. Arsenal 0, Villa 0.
Thank you, and just as we were giving that update, Reading have made a substitution. Deanne Rose has come off the pitch for Madison Perry. That is a blow for Reading. I'm assuming that wasn't planned. She looked so bright, she was their only outlet, and she's now gone off, Jenna.
Yeah, that's a massive blow for them. I think obviously she's recently come back from injury, and maybe this game has come a little bit too soon for her. She's had to do a lot of groundwork out there, pushed herself, but unfortunately a massive blow for her as well, and Reading, that probably their brightest talent out there has had to come off.
Well, that's the last thing you want to see as a Reading fan or a Reading player. I thought she was doing a marvellous job up against two centre halves.
I think, you know, she's also been very isolated, been tougher out there, and if you're not 100% fully fit, you know, you need your outlet to be able to protect the ball, to be at their fittest. And unfortunately for Rose, wasn't to be today, but yeah, massive blows. She looked like their hope going forward. She's got the pace that can change a game.
Goal kick then for Reading, and let's go to the City Academy Stadium for an update from Tom Gale.
Manchester City 0, Everton 0. Flo. City averaging 70% possession, but the visitors with the game's first shot on target. Sweeping counter saw top scorer Katia Snui's half volley on the penalty spot, saved by Chiara Keating. It's Man City 0, Everton 0.
Reading 0, Chelsea 1 here at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. Reading win the ball back with Eikeland. She finds Van Havermaet, lets it roll across her body. Is then challenged by Cuthbert. Niamh Charles then does really well to hold on to the ball under a number of challenges. Plays it square to Eriksson, stabs it forward to Ingle. Chelsea will then carry it forward out of their box. Lauren James over the halfway line. No Reading players want to come towards her. She slides it through to Kerr. Kerr in the box. Cuts back to Perisset. Perisset's square ball to Sophie Ingle. She dinks it into the box. It's headed across the face of goal by Harder. Cleared by Reading. Only so far as Sophie Ingle tries to find Kerr in the box. McCandy clears, and then the follow-up volley from Lauren James is wide. Goal kick for Reading.
Yeah, Kerr there just laying it off for James again. Volleyed it, took it first time. Looked like from this angle it was heading for the top corner, but it was wide again.
Couple of chances then for Lauren James, which she's hit wide. Signed from Manchester United a couple of seasons ago. Has 5 goals in the league so far this season. What have you made of Lauren James this season so far, Jenna?
I think she's been fantastic. I think over the last couple of seasons she's been growing as a player. Obviously last season I think she was quite frustrated, you know, her first season at Chelsea, and she didn't really get the minutes that she would have hoped for. But I think that's what Emma Hayes does so well. She manages her players excellently, and she builds them up to be starters. You know, we've seen it with Jess Carter, who isn't starting today, but she's been at the club and she's had to be patient. But for me, I think Lauren James has been one of the best players in the league again. I think her ability on the ball is unmatched. There's not a player like her. I've played against her, and you know, you can't get the ball off of her, and she makes everything look so easy, and you know, the ball's glued to her feet the minute that she has it.
And she has it now on the edge of the box. Lauren James opts to go back to Charles. Chelsea on the attack again. Wrighton whips it across goal. Collected by Erin Cuthbert with the volley. Hits a Reading player. Falls again for the Scottish midfielder. She's got it back, Cuthbert. Cuthbert square to Sophie Ingle. Ingle wide to Perisset. Perisset left-footed pass to Sophie Ingle. Plays it into the feet of James with her back to goal. Turns. Finds Ingle. She, as you say, she looks so cool on the ball, Lauren James. So calm in possession. And Reading clear the ball for a Chelsea corner.
Yeah, she does, and I think she's building connections. You know, you obviously see her and Sam Kerr combining a lot. Players trust her. She's training every day with some of the best players in the world, which aids her game. But yeah, for me, she's a real special talent.
Special talent that we hope will shine for England in the World Cup this summer. So another Chelsea corner, lifted into the box, flicked on off a Reading player. It's still kept alive, shot goalwards, wide, and it's a goal kick. Although Eriksson's fuming at the referee, she wanted a penalty there. It did hit a Reading player, hard to see from here if it was a Reading arm or not. Let's just run through the scores elsewhere in the WSL. Then it's 0-0 between Arsenal and Aston Villa. It's goalless between Brighton and Leicester City. Goalless 2 between Liverpool and Manchester United. Is West Ham 0, Tottenham 1, and Manchester City Everton is also goalless. Here it is Reading 0, Chelsea 1. That scoreline would send Reading down to the Championship and would gift Chelsea the title. Niamh Charles with the header. It's now with Sophie Ingle. I think she's probably the player who's had the most touches so far in this game, controlling things from the middle. She finds Pernilla Harder. Harder skips past a challenge on this left-hand side. Slides it into Wrighton. Wrighton with the square ball to Eriksson. It's now with Lauren James. Brings it onto her left foot. Finds Charles. Charles tries to dink it into the box. Hits a blue and white shirt. Back with Charles. Charles finds Cuthbert. Cuthbert with her orange boots and blue knee tape on. Finds Ingle. Ingle with the whip ball to Wrighton, who controls it, hits it across goal. Back with Ingle. Chelsea just toying with Reading, Jenna.
They are, and what a touch by Wrighton that was to bring it down inside of her boot and get the cross in. But yeah, they look like they're really enjoying it. Patient on the ball, they just look class. You know, they're so fluid in their movements. One player comes out of a space, another player goes back in. Every single player knows what they're doing.
They're just so good in front of goal, Chelsea. They score the most goals. They've got 64 goals in 21 games, so that's averaging more than 3 goals a game. What can you do against that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, isn't it? The quality, we've talked about it before many times, the depth and the quality that they have, especially in those attacking areas. Some of the best players in the world.
Ever since Rose went off, Reading have just really struggled to get anything to stick and get the ball out of their own half.
They have, and they look happy now to be pinned back in their own penalty box. There's no one really stepping in, trying to win a ball.
Vanilla Harder, her shot hits Wrighton in the box. Reading trying to clear it, they're just heading it up. Still not clear. Charles lifts it back into the box. Another header, save from Maloney. Her save's then cleared by Cooper. Throw in for Chelsea. A goal in East London though, it is West Ham 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Sorry, Jenna.
Forgiven.
5 minutes then till half-time. Reading 0, Chelsea 1 here on BBC 5 Sports Extra, BBC Sounds, and all around the world on the BBC World Service. Yves Perisset has the ball for Chelsea. Plays a 1-2 with Ingle. Sophie Ingle has it back, goes square to Scottish international Erin Cuthbert. She's got the ball on her right foot, plays it out to Perisset, who finds Lauren James, puts her studs on the ball, rolls it over, it drives centrally. Lauren James driving into the box now, riding challenges, shoots, hits a Reading player. Chelsea pick up the pieces. Charles again tries to go past her marker, she does so, tries to go past another one, and it's out for a goal kick for Reading. Lauren James looks like she's having so much fun out there, just taking players on, getting shots off.
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, that run there alone deserved a goal. Reading defended that phase of play really well, bodies on the line, getting the block in, but yeah, she's looking unplayable out there. But it's the same kind of movement. She's picking it up on the right hand side, she's driving infield. I think it's only a matter of time till she gets the shot off and hits the back of the net.
So hard to play against, so hard to defend against, Lauren James. Long ball there, miscontrol, Guru Wrighton's in, and Guru Wrighton slides it underneath the on-rushing Grace Maloney to double Chelsea's lead, and Chelsea are surely going to be champions of the WSL.
Yeah, you can't see it going any other way now. It's a mistake, individual error, but Mai Kidd just mishap the clearance, and Guru Wrighton is in 1v1 against the keeper and puts it through Maloney's legs. She's not going to miss it from there, and she's been a bit quiet this game, Wrighton, but yeah, great finish, composed through the legs of the keeper, but a mistake, individual mistake, has cost them.
Esther Meyer-Keith with the mistake then. She'd made the same mistake last weekend against Tottenham to gift them a goal, and she's gifted Chelsea a goal here this afternoon, and that's why Reading are getting relegated, those individual errors.
Absolutely, and you can't afford to give any gifts to a team like Chelsea. They don't need gifts to punish teams, so yeah, I mean, probably one of the easiest strikes for Wrighton there to score, but a massive mistake, and that could be the error that sends Reading down.
Guru Wrighton then with her 9th league goal of the season. She's on the ball again now, goes back to Niamh Charles. That brings her goal and assist total to 19 goals. What a player she's been for Chelsea this season and the past couple of seasons. Niamh Charles then on the ball, 2 minutes to go till half time. Chelsea lead by 2-0. Reading lump it long downfield to Madison Perry, who's up there now. She came on for the injured Deanne Rose, quite a small player though. She looks about half the height of Magda Eriksson. Not going to win a header against her. Lauren James on the ball now for Chelsea.
I think you look at the Reading bench, and can they make any changes to get back in this? But there's not a lot of experience really on that bench there for them to make any changes. So it'd be interesting to see how Kelly Chambers can Gia team up at half time and get them to come out and take this game.
Guru Wrighton on the ball for Chelsea, finds Cuthbert, Cuthbert shapes to shoot. Her shot fires into a blue and white shirt. Emma McCandy clears it long downfield, looking for Perry. Perry does well. She's got 2 gold shirts around her. She is dispossessed in the end, and it goes out for a Chelsea throw-in.
I mean, you've got to feel sorry for Perry there. Initially, she does really well, holds the ball up, but there's no Reading players stepping up or coming up the pitch to support her. They're just staying back, inviting Chelsea, and you can't really afford to do that when you're fighting for your lives and you're playing against a team like Chelsea.
30 seconds of this first half remaining. Reading 0, Chelsea 2. It's with the Welsh international, Sophie Ingle. She goes square to Cuthbert, into Wrighton. 1-2 with Kerr, doesn't come off on the edge of the box. But again, Chelsea pick up the loose ball. It's back with their captain, Magdalena Eriksson, playing her last game for Chelsea. She's off with her partner, Pernilla Harder, at the end of the season. Rumours are they're going to Bayern Munich. Sam Kerr on the edge of the box loses the ball. We've got 2 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half to play, as Eriksson picks the ball up on this near side in front of her manager, Emma Hayes. She goes square to Mjelde. Both captains of their countries, the 2 Chelsea centre-halves, Eriksson and Mjelde. Mjelde of Norway, Eriksson of Sweden. It's with Lauren James. She's pushed off the ball by Moore. Good tackle, fair tackle, shoulder to shoulder, and Perry will chase Mjelde, who just goes all the way back to her goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's easy for the Chelsea defenders, isn't it? And Perry, she's running her socks off there. She's got that change of pace, but they're so comfortable in defending her.
Eve Perisset now on the ball for Chelsea. Have they got one more attack in them before the end of this first half? It's with Ingle. And the Reading players are just in 2 banks of 4. In fact, they've got a bank of 5, then a bank of 4. They're not pressing Chelsea. They're just letting Chelsea dictate the play and run at them. It's back with Maloney. She waits for a Chelsea player to run towards her and picks it up. They want a back pass there, Chelsea.
I mean, they have right to every right to complain. It looked like a clear black pass to me. I think it's hard for this Reading team. They look like they're scared to step out. You know, they're not taking the risk. They're not being brave enough. They're happy to sit in their blocks. Nobody's stepping in or reading the play in front of them.
Cooper clears, picked up by Lauren James on the edge of the box, up against Emma McCandy, dribbling into the penalty area. Shrugs off the challenge, but she's gone too wide. She's now got another Reading player on her, so she goes back to Perisset. Perisset, the diminutive figure, goes all the way back to Mjelde. It's now with Cuthbert. Switches the play out to the left. Charles plays into the box, plays the 1-2 with Kerr. She then lifts it to the back stick. It's gone out of play. Free kick for Reading.
Yeah, I've just got to go back to that Emma McCundy and Jess.
That is the first half whistle, so we'll come back to that in a moment, Jenna. But after 45 minutes, it is Chelsea who lead Reading by 2-0. The scoring got underway. Sam Kerr with the finish, and then a mistake at the back from Reading allowed Guro Reiten to jump onto that, slide home. So at half-time, it is Reading 0, Chelsea 2, and Jenna, Reading looking like they're going to be relegated, Chelsea looking like they're going to be getting the title.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Reading, is it? I don't think they've been brave enough at all, and Chelsea are almost like a training match for them. They're finding their flow, their movement's excellent, and I think there's going to be more goals to come in the second half.
Half-time here, Reading 0, Chelsea 2.
Flo, thank you very much indeed. Let's head round the other big games in the WSL then. We'll start with Liverpool-Manchester United. Maz Faruqi.
We're into 2.5 minutes of 5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half, Steve. Still Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0, but the best chance of the half coming in the last couple of seconds. Nikita Parris running onto a ball over the top from Manchester United, just seeing her shot at goal from the right, deflected by Rachel Laws, the Liverpool keeper, onto her right-hand post, onto the left-hand post as Manchester United attacking this game, and that's really been their best chance of the first half. Just the one shot on target as well, that header earlier from Parris again. Manchester United a little bit subdued. 2 minutes of stoppage time here to play, still 0-0.
And they'll be subdued because presumably they'll know what's going on, won't they, with Chelsea?
Absolutely. You could see as soon as the first goal went in for Sam Kerr, the stand to my left, there's about 3,000, I think they were saying, Manchester United fans who have made the trip across to Prenton Park here in the sunshine. They knew straight away that Chelsea were ahead. And I think as well the message has come through, of course, on the the touchline as well. Mark Skinner saying before kick-off to me that he was going to be keeping an eye on that Reading-Chelsea scoreline. I think the players know that Chelsea are ahead and that the chances of the WSL title coming to them this season are very much slender.
Maz, thank you very much indeed. So the scorelines at the minute mean that Leicester are going to stay in the WSL. They're playing Brighton. Paul Scott.
Whistle has literally just gone, Steve. It's Brighton 0, Leicester 0. Leicester have had the better of the chances in this first half. Hannah Kane and Missy Goodwin both sending good opportunities wide when they were in behind the Brighton backline. Carrie Jones had an air shot after a cross from the left. She really perhaps will feel she could have done better from 6 yards. And then 5 minutes before half-time, Remy Simpson went to ground. There were strong appeals for a penalty, waved away by the referee, Abby Byrne. At the other end, Brighton have created very little, a shot wide from their leading scorer Elizabeth Turland. It's goalless, but it's enough to keep Leicester in the WSL as it stands. Brighton 0, Leicester 0.
Let's go to Meadow Park next. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Chris Coles.
A surprising scoreline, not a surprising scorer. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 1. Rachel Daly's 22nd of the season. The WSL's player of the season at it again. She's now equalled the WSL single season goal record after scrambling the ball home. Arsenal failing to clear from a corner in first half stoppage time. Prior to that, it had felt a very end of season game. This Arsenal dominating possession but not really creating anything clear cut. Stina Blackstenius attempting an awkward flick at the front post, didn't get the contact she needed, and Katie McCabe driving wide from range, their best chances, but no real jeopardy because they'd need an almighty goal swing against them in the Everton-Manchester City game, which isn't happening. Even though Arsenal trail here, their Champions League qualification is still safe. Arsenal 0, Villa 1.
Another very familiar name on the score sheet, Bethany England for Tottenham Hotspur. But despite that goal, West Ham lead by 2-1 at half-time. Let's go to the Academy Stadium finally. Manchester City, Everton. Tom Gale.
0-0 at half-time, Steve. City saw Lauren Hemp's looping header clip the bar early on, but despite dominating possession, they're yet to register an attempt on target. Everton defending well, but more than game when there's a chance to counter-attack. Their captain, Izzy Christensen, who retires today with a particular highlight, ball over her shoulder, trapped immediately with her weaker foot. Girls still got it. Half-time, Man City 0, Everton 0.
Tom, thank you very much indeed. The half-time whistle has now gone at Prenton Park and it's Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0. Now, the progress of Newcastle United's men's team hasn't been the only success story at the club this season. The women's team have made huge strides, winning the Women's National League Northern Premier Division. So that means they're 2 promotions away from the top flight. If on-field achievement matches off-field ambition, it's not going to be long before Newcastle have a team in the WSL. Their manager, Becky Langley, has been speaking to Jennifer Hanratty-Bull.
I don't think it has quite sunk in yet. I think it'll really sink in when we see Newcastle United women and the fixture list for Tier 3. But yeah, we've celebrated really well. We've enjoyed every second of it. And I'm just so proud that the team is now in that promotion.
And it was a nail-biting end to the season, to say the least.
It was very tense indeed. It went right down to the last game and we won the league on goal difference. So we were kind of making sure that we weren't too distracted with our rivals Durham and Cestria's score, but we needed to ensure we scored, more goals across those last 4 games of the season. And, we scored 6 against Bradford and we scored 5 against Leeds. So to actually then kick on and win the game 2-0 at Barnsley was just enough to ensure that we were gaining promotion, which is fantastic.
What was it like then, that moment when you did lift the trophy? I bet the celebrations went on for some time afterwards.
Yeah, you could say that.
I've been out in Newcastle and they know how to party there.
Yeah, I think my hangover was dampened a week later. But it's just pure joy and such relief. You worked so hard to have that moment with friends and family and the players and staff. When the final whistle went, it was just a moment of joy, and kind of those 400 Newcastle fans who'd made the journey to Barnsley kind of ran on the pitch, including my friends and family as well, which was just absolutely amazing moments. And then watching Grace, our captain, lift the trophy was really special. I think people don't see the hard yards that go into it. They see the glamorous bit at the end when you're lifting the trophy and everyone's saying congratulations and, spraying Prosecco across the field. But I think it's the other part when, you're out on the pitch till 10 o'clock at night. You're working very long hours to ensure that, part-time players are supported. And it's just an absolute moment of just energy and buzz when that final whistle goes and you win that league. So I'm just delighted. And I think, you can't buy those moments. It's credit to the hard work of everybody.
You know, we should say, obviously, that for your team, we're not talking about a whole squad of full-time professionals who have got their entire week focused on just winning those games. You know, they're balancing it with work and families, and that's no easy task.
No, it's not. None of the players at Newcastle this season had been full-time, so they'd all had another job, or they were a full-time student. So it's just, massive credit to them that they're being able to balance and have been so committed alongside a professional career.
We hear so much about how the women's game has grown, but what is the reality for players that are playing in the lower leagues that aren't in the WSL or the Championship playing full-time?
Below the WSL and Championship, it's still how it used to be. When you hear kind of like the girls in the WSL or Lionesses speak, it's great that they're talking kind of like they're full-time, they've got all these resources, they can fully focus on their football, but for them, like 75% of women's football, that isn't the reality. And I think that still needs to be identified. But that's where I think you've got to get the right balance of asking for more and driving change constantly. And that's where you do need females like myself in these positions where you've done it, you've been in those shoes, you understand what the girls are going through. And you just need to keep asking for more, because why shouldn't we train at an earlier time? Why shouldn't we get the same kit? Why should we pay to play? And I don't think they're too adventurous questions. I think it's just showing equality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely, definitely. I mean, this is the club's first season under the complete ownership of Newcastle United, obviously such an iconic club. What are the plans moving forward from here? As it seems as though, as you said, there's a huge appetite for the women's game up there. You've drawn in crowds of in excess of 20,000 when you've had the opportunity to play at St James's Park.
Yeah, the club's ambition is to push on as quickly as possible. They want to win Tier 3 as quickly as we can and, be with the big setups in the Championship and WSL. When you gain a promotion, you can't be too naive. Obviously, your first point of call is to remain that status in that league the next season. But we're so ambitious. Like, we think with recruitment and with the structure we've got in place and the support we've got in place, there's no reason we can't win Tier 3 really quickly. And we want to do that with, local talents. We want to recruit and we want to give women a better opportunity than just being a hobby and doing that hobby after a long day at work. I think the women's game deserves more respect than that, actually below Tier 2. So hopefully we can be the leading light with that.
For a club as big as Newcastle United, why do you think it's taken such a long time to really get the women's team up and running and successful?
I think if we're being really transparent, it was because our previous owners didn't invest in the women's team.
Mike Ashley, specifically the owner at the time.
Yeah, and I think, because of that, we were looked after by Newcastle United Foundation, and the charity, were fantastic in actually looking after the women's team and making sure it was safe. And that isn't how a charity really should be run. The women's team, should be financed, and that kind of support from the foundation should be going towards, primary school initiatives, the Prince's Trust, the staff that work in the RVI on the cancer wards with young children. That's where that money should have went. And that's why we've been extra passionate to ensure that now we've moved over to the club, we ensure success for those that have backed us previously. But yeah, Amanda Staveley and the new owners coming on board, they've really driven that kind of equal access for the women's team and has really propelled everything we're doing.
Becky Langley, their Newcastle manager, with Jennifer Hanratty-Bull. We'll be taking you back to the Medeski shortly for second half commentary here on 5 Sports Extra of Reading against Chelsea. Chelsea 2-0 up, on course for their 4th successive WSL title. Goals from Guru Wrighton and, of course, Sam Kerr. If it stays like that, there's nothing Manchester United can do to nick the title on the final day. And anyway, they're drawing 0-0 with Liverpool at half-time at Prenton Park. Elsewhere, Leicester's staying in the WSL then as it stands. They're drawing 0-0 at Brighton. It's Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 1, 22 for the season for WSL top scorer Rachel Daly. Manchester City 0, Everton 0 in Everton captain Izzy Christensen's last game as a professional, and West Ham 2, Tottenham 1 is the other half-time score. Let's talk now about Jill Scott's Coffee Club. Lioness and Manchester City star Lauren Hemp is the latest guest on the podcast. She spoke about her love of cricket and how she got into it.
My dad used to play cricket, and I feel like we were quite a sporty family. My sister used to play as well. She probably got me into football, and then my dad was sort of more cricket, and I used to go along to his games, and I don't know, it just sort of started from there really. And to be fair, up until I was about 16, it was then when I sort of had to decide between the two, because I was actually all right at cricket as well, because it used to be obviously like a summer sport, and then I play football in the winter, but obviously now football's like all year round, and cricket's pretty much the same as well. So yeah, when I was 16, I had to decide what I wanted to do, and I mean, obviously I think I picked the best option, but like, yeah, I used to play for county and that, and like I know a few of the girls now who play for England cricket as well, so we sort of keep in contact as well, which is nice.
Did you ever play cricket? No, I didn't, but I'm just picturing like, and there's Lauren Hempert, wicket keeper, she's just like this. I think that would have been a wasted talent though, because you wouldn't get to see like any of
quite
his
quick,
speed.
like
yeah, what
maybe
was
like
it?
bowling? Yeah, I was
Is that
quite
what
quick
it
at
was?
bowling. Yeah.
So will you follow the Ashes this summer? Will you,
Yeah,
will you be
probably,
one of
yeah.
those people that will have it on like in the background, sort of all through the day?
I like it, to be fair, because you know some people don't like the long days of watching cricket.
Oh, I
and
love
stuff.
that.
I feel like it's great
Love
to
it,
just
mate.
put on. You can go and do something, come back to it, and then yeah, it's
Brilliant.
great.
Ben Haynes there and Jill Scott, Jill Scott's Coffee Club. To get the full episode, just head over right now to BBC Stands. Let's take you back to the Medeski Stadium second half commentary on the way of Reading versus Chelsea. Flo Pollock and the former Spurs captain Jenna Schillaci are there. Jenna, I mean, we said before the game it was nigh on impossible for Reading. Now it's Everest, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't see them coming back from this. I think as the half went on, Chelsea grew. The way they're moving the ball, Reading, they just don't look brave enough. They've had nothing going forward. Obviously, really unfortunate with Rose coming off, but I can't see a way back for them now.
Question of how many, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there'll be a lot more goals in this second half.
All right, so second half is on the way then, and it looks like Chelsea are going to be crowned champions on this, the final day of the WSL season. Flo.
Thanks, Steve. So back here in Reading then, as you said, it's half-time. Reading 0, Chelsea 2. The Reading players are out on the pitch in a little huddle. The Chelsea players coming out in drips and drabs. The sun shining here. Plenty of fans here, though I think Reading don't have a massive crowd. I think the majority of the fans are probably Chelsea, Jenna.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. They've been amazing this season, the Chelsea fans. Every game that I've been to that Chelsea have played, they're definitely by far been the loudest fans in the stadium.
Yeah, they've got a good setup as well at Kingsmeadow, haven't they? They often fill out the stadium, and it's got a good vibe there. There's a good connection between Emma Hayes, the Chelsea squad, and the Chelsea fans. Well, it's easy to build that connection, isn't it, when you win all the time?
It is, and there's no doubt they're ready for a party here today. I'm sure the closing stages of the match will get louder and louder now.
But as our producer Carl said earlier, as Chelsea will be crowned, Reading will be relegated. I think the word he used was awkward. And I do agree with that. It's going to be a bit awkward. Chelsea celebrating, poor old Reading facing relegation. So both sets of players are out. I can't see any changes, so it will be the same starting 11. A reminder, in the first half, Reading's Diane Rose came off. She was replaced by Madison Perry, but no changes at half-time. So let me just give you the lineups. We're about to get underway for the second half in the WSL. For Reading, they've got Maloney in goal as Van Havermaet gets us underway. A back four of Mayor Keith, Cooper, Evans and McCandy. Eichland, Moore, Hendricks and Van Havermaet in the middle, and then Harries and Perry up top, really. Perry coming on, as I said, for Diane Rose. For Chelsea, no changes. Berger in goal, back four of Charles, Eriksson, Mielda, Perisset, Ingle and Cuthbert in front of those back four, and then a front four of Wright and Harder, James and Sam Kerr. Chelsea on the ball again, so this second half begins much as the first half ended, although Reading win it back. Van Havermaet slides it through to Perry. Perry up against Eriksson, hits it with the outside of her boot to Harries. Harries then switches out to Eichland. What can she do from this chance? Hits it off the boot of Charles, goes out for a Reading corner.
Positive start from Reading. Starting the second half really well. Positive going forward, committing bodies forward. First set piece here. Can they punish now?
Can Reading nick one back at the start of this second half? A reminder that they need to win to stay in the WSL. They need to win, and they need Leicester to drop points. A draw isn't good enough, and they're currently trailing by 2-0. So Reading corner on that far side. They've sent forward plenty of players, and it's looped in. Berger comes out, gets a punch on it, and then Lauren James picks it up. So Lauren James up against McCandy. McCandy's got 2 arms on James. James hits it back to Mjelde, who fires it forward. Chested down by Ingle. She's dispossessed by Perry, who does well. It's now with Emma Harries on the edge of the box. Her shot blocked by Cuthbert. Good spell of pressure here from Reading. Kelly Chambers obviously put a bit of fire in them at half time. Told them to fight a little bit. Jade Moore now on the ball. She fires a shot goalwards. Catching practice for Ann-Katrin Berger.
Yeah, I mean, they have to fight for it. I'm not sure why we haven't seen that fighting spirit in the first half. But yeah, positive start to the second half from this Reading team. But again, now they've reverted back into their blocks, letting Chelsea play, letting Chelsea move the ball.
Yeah, as you say, it's now with Erin Cuthbert in the Reading half. All players bar the Chelsea goalkeeper in the Reading half. Out to Charles. Charles surging forward. She's got a player on her, tries to use her body to shield the ball, does so, but then opts to go back to her captain Eriksson. She receives it back on the touchline. Charles with the back heel. Eriksson wasn't making the run. Goal kick for Reading, and Reading have really lacked fight this season, Jenna. It's strange because when I think of Kelly Chambers and Kelly Chambers Reading side, I think of a gritty team, a hard team to beat, and they've just not been that this season.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think over the seasons and ever since I was playing against Reading, they're always a really difficult team to play against. You know, they're tough players, they fight for everything. Just a really difficult team to break down, and they upset teams. But this season, I think they've obviously lost some key players at the end of last season. I think other teams around them have strengthened. They've just lacked that firepower. And you know, last week when I was watching them at the Tottenham game, they had key players out. You know, they had no Rachel Rowe, who's been massive for them this season.
Is that what it is then? They're lacking quality?
I think they're lacking quality. They're lacking the depth. I think if you look at their substitute bench now, you've got 3 academy graduates out there. When you look at Chelsea's bench, I mean, it's another world apart. But yeah, they're definitely lacking that quality in their squads, and that's obviously a result of the financial backing that they're getting from the men's team. And I think to survive in this league, you've got to have that money, you've got to have that investment to keep up, and each season you have to improve or you do get left behind, and I think that's what we've seen this season with Reading.
But in terms of the confidence and the fight and the desire that they've been lacking, is that just because that they've lost confidence because they've not got the quality of the players? Where's that fight gone?
Yeah, it's difficult. You know, when you're in a run and you haven't picked up any points for so long, it's hard to get out of that, you know, that mentality, and it's hard to come out and play brave because you're too scared to make mistakes and concede goals. And I think especially
as Chelsea are coming forward, ball played into the box by Lauren James, chested down by Cooper and cleared upfield for Perry to run onto. Mjelde will get there first. Mjelde gets it under control, as you were saying, Jenna.
Yeah, I think, you know, and obviously to come up against a team like Chelsea on the last day of the season where they have to survive, they have to get 3 points, it's really tough because they have to be brave. But when you're brave against a team like Chelsea, you know, you get punished.
Yeah, very true. McCandy tries to clear it, hits off the heel of James. Van Havermaet finishes the clearance up to Perry, brings the ball down well under control, slides it out to Eichland. She can't pick out a pass, but it's back with Perry. Madison Perry, who's done very well since coming on.
Yeah, she has, and one of the academy graduates that we spoke about, a young player, but yeah, she's followed on from Rose up there, working hard for her team, holding it up, trying to hold it up for her teammates to join her. That's a big task for a young player.
Reading 0, Chelsea 2, 5 minutes into this second half here on BBC 5 Sports Extra and the BBC World Service. Ball's fired into the feet of Harder. She plays it wide to James.
This battle for me is great, Emma McCandy and Lauren James. McCandy's probably one of the most experienced defenders, and she's struggling up against the young Lauren James.
I think everyone struggles against Lauren James. It's now with Perisset. Chelsea just passing the ball around the edge of the Reading box. They've got players in the box. Should they want to pick out the delivery, it's then played in to Wrighton. Ingle then stabs it to Lauren James. Lauren James looks for the run of Sam Kerr at the back. Stick goes out for a goal kick for Reading.
That was a real teasing ball there, wasn't it? It was whipped into the 6-yard box, and Sam Kerr made a run at the back post. It was a little bit too much on it and sees the ball out wide.
And Chris Coles has a goal at Meadow Park, but which way has it gone, Chris?
It's another for Aston Villa, Flo. What a season they've had, and it looks like it's ending on a real high. Arsenal 0, Villa 2, Alicia Lehmann sliding home after good work on the left-hand side. 50 minutes played, Arsenal 0, Villa 2.
Wow, unexpected score, Jenna?
Yeah, absolutely, but Villa have been fantastic this season, haven't they? The real underdogs, and they're carrying it right on to the end of the season. They've upset teams, the top teams throughout the season, and Arsenal's no different.
Reading coming forward, they win a corner. Eichlin playing the ball off the foot of Maren Mjelde, so another Reading corner. Reading's Deanne Cooper jogs forward to take this, not in a particular hurry. Reading have sent players forward for this. Chelsea, I can see, you've got a number of players warming up on this near side. Cooper just moves the sound thing out the way for this corner. It's an in-swinger. Up comes Ann-Katrin Berger, claims that no problem.
Yeah, I think Reading, you know, in those moments, like you say, Jade Moore just walking over to take the corner kick. They need a goal and they need one quick. There just seems no urgency. You know, I think last week when I watched them at Tottenham, I was surprised by the lack of fight and unurgency. And
ball hit long for Kerr. Kerr gets onto it, hits off a Reading player, but Grace Maloney prevents the goal kick. Yeah, as you say, Reading. As you say, Jenna, Reading just look completely deflated, don't they?
They look done, to be honest. They look done. There's no leaders out there, really. You can't see anyone cheering the team up. They've got their heads down. Body language isn't great. They look like a team beaten already.
At this stage, you've got to fight for a bit of pride, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, this club has been in the top league for a number of seasons now. So it's a sad, sad day, but you want to see some fight from every single player out there.
Long ball latched onto by Wrighton. She cuts it back across goal. Cuthbert finds Ingle. Ingle hits it off a Reading player, fouls her in the process for Reading. Free kick, and there's been a goal at the City Academy Stadium. Tom Gale.
Rush began, Flo. Man City 1, Everton 0. Remember, Arsenal losing, City need to win big. It's Bunny Shaw with the goal. Good combination between Hemp to Kelly, back to the Jamaican on the centre circle. Lovely strike from the edge of the box. Man City 1, Everton 0.
Thanks, Tom. Bunny Shaw, what a player. What a pleasure it is having her in the WSL.
She's another player, fantastic player. We're so lucky we have the talent that we do in this league, and yeah, she's been on fire. Looked like she was on track for top goal scorer, but Rachel Daly is just doing what she's been doing all season, banging in goals for fun.
Yeah, top goal scorer will not be Sam Kerr this season. She won it the past 2 seasons, but she won't be getting the golden boot. Although she has scored with today's goal, that's 28 goals in all competitions for Chelsea this season. So she's not had a poor season by any shot.
No, not at all. She's been much more than a goal scorer for this team this season. Given the injuries of Kirby and Harder, she's had to do a lot of graft for her team. You know, finding herself in positions, dropping deeper for her team, working off the ball a lot more, and has sacrificed goals because of that. But yeah, she's much more than a goal scorer, Sam Kerr.
Lauren James for Chelsea plays a 1-2 with Harder, receives it back, tries to lift it into the box, hits it off Hendricks' outstretched leg for a Chelsea corner. 10 minutes into this second half, Reading 0, Chelsea 2. Still Chelsea on course for a 4th successive league title. Reading facing a relegation to the Women's Championship. So Eve Perisset over this corner, who's been Chelsea's right back for most of the season since joining in the summer from Bordeaux. Tidy player, she puts one hand in the air, it's a flat ball in, flicked on by Kerr. Neither Harder or Cuthbert can get their foot on the ball. It's now with Wrighton, drives past her defender. Good tackle in the end by Maya Keith. Throw in for Chelsea, level with the penalty box.
Yeah, she did well there, Maya Keith. Just tracked Guru Wrighton right to the byline and got the block in.
So Chelsea throw in. All the Reading players back in their own box except for Madison Perry. Stands in between the two titans, Mjelde and Eriksson. Flicked on by James. and caught by Grace Maloney in her all turquoise kit, the Reading goalkeeper.
Just looking here again now. Maloney's had the ball in her hands probably 5-6 seconds. No real urgency to get her team up and start an attack.
Let's go elsewhere around the WSL then and have an update from Prenton Park from Maz Faruqi.
Still Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0. I think we're 4 minutes or so behind you here, Flo, because of 5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. And the United fans, the United players are attacking in the second half, getting frustrated. They think Liverpool players are going down, requiring treatment to disrupt their game as they try to go close from a set piece. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0 still.
Thanks, Maz. Just as you said that, it was a through ball for Lauren James to run onto. She couldn't quite latch onto it. It's out for another Reading goal kick. And let's go for an update from the Broadfield Stadium then, Paul Scott.
55 minutes on the clock here. It's still Brighton 0, Leicester 0. Not too much to write home about in this second half so far. We're still waiting for Brighton's first shot on target. At the other end, Leicester have had a couple of half chances. Hannah Kane sending a free kick wide from 20 yards. And also a good chance for Remy Simpson, who could only shoot straight at Megan Walsh. It's Brighton 0, Leicester 0.
Elsewhere in the WSL as well, Tottenham have equalised it. It's West Ham 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2, and guess who the goal scorer is, Jenna?
Oh, I'm going to go England.
Yes, Bethany England with her second of the game. England. She has to be on the plane for the World Cup, surely.
She's literally, I tell you what, she's been a blessing to this Tottenham team. But yeah, her stats are ridiculous, and given she's only really played since January, third top goal scorer in this league, basically scored every other game she's played in.
Such a good player, such a hard-working player, lovely person as well. I've interviewed her on a number of occasions. She's a real treasure. So Reading fire the ball forward. Up to Madison Perry, she chests it down, goes down under a push from Magdalena Eriksson. Good play there from the Reading centre half to win the ball high up the pitch and win a foul for her side, just to get them out.
Yeah, no, clever that. Now can they just play a little bit quicker? But they don't. They give giving Chelsea enough time to get back and set up and get organised again.
Yeah, as we say, the experienced players on the pitch for Reading. Your Diana Cooper, your Jade Moores, your Emma McCanny. The fight seems to have gone out of them, whereas the likes of Madison Perry, young academy kid, she's going for it. She's trying to do what she can in a difficult situation, and props to her for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's literally leaving everything out there on the pitch, isn't she? She's leading from the front. But there's much more experienced players around her in this Reading team that should really be stepping up a little bit more on a day like today.
Emma McCandy's won a free kick for Reading in this left-hand channel, level with the box. She went past Lauren James, who then hauled her down. So a chance for Reading to whip in a ball from this left-hand side. The Reading players going over to take it, not on a particular rush to do so, just sorting her hair out. I think it's Diana Cooper. Spent 3 years at Chelsea. Never really broke into the 11, which moved away to get game time. Two players in the Chelsea wall, Guri Wrighton and Lauren James. Our referee, Rebecca Welsh, just draws the little line with the white silly string. I don't think that's its official name, the foam, the referee foam. I prefer silly string. So, Reading free kick then. Cooper with the delivery. It's a good one. Goes across goal and Harder clears for Sam Kerr to run onto. Sam Kerr has Wrighton down the middle. She finds her. Wrighton's got two Reading players around her. Goes straight past Maya Keith, does Wrighton into the box, but she has to check her progress. She goes back to Kerr. Kerr from distance sprays it across, looking for Harder. It's headed clear, and then a shanked clearance from Cooper, and Chelsea will attack again through Charles.
Yeah, initially defended that phase of play really well, Reading, but then again it's another scuff clearance and ball gifted back to Chelsea.
A headed clearance by Reading, only falls to Kerr. Kerr hits it into the box and it's cleared again by Chelsea. Charles goes past a player, chips it in, falls kindly for Wrighton. Wrighton with the volley. That's headed clear. Reading really under the cosh here. They can't get out. Van Havermaet thumps it away. Collected by Maren Mjelde though, Chelsea's Norwegian centre half. She's got ice in her veins. Mjelde scored 2 penalties in the Champions League quarter-final to get Chelsea to the semis. Chelsea's Cuthbert slides it out to Perisset. Perisset back to Cuthbert, first time delivery, across goal. Harder can't make any contact, out for a Reading goal kick.
I mean, it was good defending in the end. Harder was breathing down the defender's neck, just used her body as a shield to allow the ball to go out of play. Composed defending there.
There's been another goal at the Academy Stadium, but for who, Tom Gale?
City are keeping things interesting, Flo. Man City 2, Everton 0. Lauren Hemp with a goal of the season contender, wide right to the box, cuts in on a left foot, loops over Brosnan, in off the bar, stunning strike. They need more goals, but it's Man City 2, Everton 0.
Thanks, Tom. We've got a change in personnel here for Reading. Off comes Emma Harries to be replaced by Charlie Wellings. Let's also have an update from Prenton Park. Maz Faruqi.
Still 0-0, 59 minutes on the clock. Another pause in play here. A clash of heads between the Liverpool keeper Rachel Laws and Alicia Russo. Thankfully, both players now looking to be getting back up onto their feet. Manchester United, though, still really subdued, not creating an awful lot going forward yet in this second half. No here.
Thanks, Maz. 62 minutes played here. It's Reading 0, Chelsea 2 on BBC 5 Sports Extra. Chelsea have the ball in the Reading half. Reading sitting deep, all their players back, bar Madison Perry, who is in the centre circle for them. Mjelde's now on the ball. She finds Sophie Ingle. Sophie Ingle, lovely disguised pass through to Cuthbert. Cuthbert's pass doesn't come off, and Reading clear it up for Madison Perry to chase. She's got good turn of pace, Perry. Beats Eriksson to the ball. Up against Magda Eriksson. She's out by the corner flag. And then she runs it out of play for a Reading corner. Our referee Rebecca Welsh points to the corner, much to the annoyance of the Chelsea players. Great play again from Madison Perry.
Yeah, really well there. She just run the width of the half, beating beating Eriksson for pace, and then she's got a corner out of it. There was nothing on. There were no players supporting her. Done really, really well there, the young player.
For every step Eriksson takes, I think Madison Perry probably takes about 2.
She does.
She's half a height.
Again, just so slow here, Reading. It's like nobody was ready to take the corner. I think Cooper's come for it now. So slow, walking to the penalty spot.
I'm also surprised because Emma McCandy, I think, usually takes set pieces already. She's very good for a dead ball delivery, but it is.
I guess she offers another threat in the box. Good aerially, McCandy.
Ball hit towards the back stick, headed clear by Sam Kerr, doing her defensive duty. As you said, Jenna, Kerr offers more than goals for this Chelsea side. So it's off Kerr for another corner for Reading. No, it hasn't gone out quite just yet. It's out by the corner flag, and it's now a throw in for Chelsea. And there's been something has happened at the City Academy Stadium. A significant moment, Tom.
Yeah, Man City 2, Everton 0, Flo. But the professional career of Izzy Christiansen has come to an end in the 61st minute. Remember, she won the double here, treble winner at Lyon. She's been replaced just after an hour, a side trailing 2-0. But those here who can stand at the Academy Stadium, standing up to say their applause to a great career. Man City 2, Everton 0.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, wish Izzy Christiansen all the best in what she's going to get up to after her football career. Great player for England, great player for Manchester City, Lyon, Everton, the clubs she played for.
Yeah, she's been a WSL great, hasn't she? Played around the world, been successful, and I'm sure she'll have lots of offers coming in now off the back of her retirement.
Reading coming forward, it slid through to Madison Perry. She gets there ahead of Eriksson. She thinks it across goal. Header comes in from Van Havermaet. Hits off a Chelsea player though, and Chelsea managed to guide it clear. McCandy does well though to win it off Harder, but on the second attempt Harder nicks it back off her, and she plays it up to Kerr, chests it down, flicks it back to Harder, and Reading drop back to their defensive deep line and allow Chelsea to play the ball around the back.
I think Madison Perry, you know, we spoke about a big loss with Rose coming off, but she's really held her own there. Been at the club since she's 13 years old, so bittersweet day for her, really. Her team, you know, she's there, she's leading from the front at such a young age. It's potentially now, as it stands, seeing her club that she's been with since the age of 13 just breaking into the first team, facing relegation.
Chelsea on the attack again. Perisset plays it round the corner for James, who's in the box but from a wide angle, digs the cross out, headed back across goal by Wrighton, off a Reading player. Chelsea corner.
Not sure how James dug that cross out there. She had no space, defender giving her no space at all, but still she managed to just dink a high quality cross into the back post.
I'm also amazed at players that manage to get such power or lift under a ball with such little back lift.
Yeah, she has everything.
So Chelsea corner then on that far side, and a little sliver of the pitch which is in shade, the rest of it in brilliant sunshine here at the Select Car Leasing Stadium in Reading, where Reading are trailing Chelsea by 2-0. It's an in-swinger, flicked on and out at the near post, and then McCandy finishes the clearance, tries to get past Niamh Charles. Charles uses her body and her strength well to block the ball and go back to Mjelde. Mjelde with the switch ball that hasn't come off, then it's picked up by Eikeland. She plays it forward to Van Haverma, who flicks it on, looking for Perry. Perry can't latch onto it. Chelsea clear.
Yeah, Van Haverma, you could see what the idea, she was trying to dink it over. Instead the ball went square and into the Chelsea player's path.
And Reading's Brooke Hendricks now is down on the floor. Looks like she maybe has got cramp or perhaps an injury on come the physios then for Reading. We've got 22 minutes remaining here. Reading 0, Chelsea 2. Chelsea looking like they're going to win their 4th successive WSL title. And Reading, as we've mentioned, facing relegation here. Let me give you the full scores across the board then. In North London, it's Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2. It's 0-0 between Brighton and Leicester City. 0-0 between Liverpool and Manchester United. Manchester City, on the other hand, are beating Everton by 2-0. And it's 2-2 between West Ham and Tottenham Hotspur. So a reminder, looking at the table then, Chelsea top. They are going to win unless there's crazy miracle here this afternoon. Second, Manchester United. Third, Arsenal. And remember, the top 3 get Champions League. An option to play, the ability to play in the Champions League next season. Manchester City in 4th, Aston Villa in 5th. And as we said, Aston Villa leading Arsenal. Best of the rest this season, Jenna.
Yeah, I think they recruited really well in the summer, and then they added some real experienced players in the January window, and I don't think it's no surprise that they are where they are. Really, really clever at recruitment. I think they've kicked on while other teams have not necessarily got their recruitment spot on. I think when you're looking at a team like Aston Villa, I'm comparing them to Tottenham this season, where Tottenham come up a year before, didn't really get their recruitment right this season, and the difference is there, as you can see it in the table. But yeah, for me, Aston Villa, I think that the core of that team is now full of really talented, experienced players, and now they'll look to kick on and recruit even stronger talent in the summer and push on and maybe upset a few more teams and crack that top 4.
Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Can they compete at the top with the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, and this year Manchester United? So back to the table then, looking at the bottom, Reading are in 12th, last position, relegation position. They've got 11 points. Leicester City, as it stands, on 14 points, just above them. Only one side is relegated from the WSL. 20 minutes remaining then, and we're back underway. Brooke Hendricks is going to continue. Lauren James is on the ball for Chelsea. She's got 2 Reading players around her. Emma McCandy with the challenge. Great challenge from her. Difficult to tackle Lauren James. And then Reading just play it out of play for a Chelsea throw-in, and that will give Chelsea the opportunity to make a couple of substitutions as well. So off comes Pernilla Harder. That's her last moments in a Chelsea shirt. She's leaving at the end of the season. She turns to applaud the Chelsea fans, who will get to their feet and applaud her. The Danish international, Pernilla Harder, what a player she's been for Chelsea. It's been an honour commentating on her and watching her in this league. She is replaced by Jelena Cankovic. And Lauren James also makes way as well for Johanna Rytting Kaneryd, signed in the summer from BK Häcken. End of an era. Pernilla Harder is off. 80 appearances, 44 goals. A great talent.
Oh, an exceptional talent. I think one of the best attacking midfielders in the world right now. And yeah, sad day to see her leave Chelsea and obviously the WSL. Been unlucky with injuries this season, but since she's been back in the team, she's been fantastic. And there's no surprise that Chelsea have started finding the net a lot more since she's been back in and open for selection again.
They really have. Having her back at the tail end of the season has just been so great for Chelsea.
Yeah, she connects that midfield and the forward, and you know, when she's back in the team, Sanker can resume to normal duties and, you know, stay up top and punish teams and score those goals herself.
There's been a goal though at the City Academy Stadium. Tom Gale.
Manchester City continue to make things interesting, Flo. Man City 3, Everton 0. It's Bunny Shaw, her second of the afternoon and 20th WSL goal of the season. Once again, Everton failing to clear the lines. The Jamaican from 8 yards out finds the bottom corner. They still need a 6-goal swing, so help from Aston Villa and more here is needed. But it's Man City 3, Everton 0.
Thanks, Tom. Wow, that would be some comeback if Manchester City leapfrogged Arsenal, Jenna.
Well, yeah, to be honest, I didn't see that coming at all after last week's performance, but never say never, and I think that's what's so great about this league. You can't call anything.
Still needs to be quite a big goal swing, though, for that to happen. We'll keep an eye on that. Chelsea here, though, have a corner. Guru Wrighton over this one. Dinks it into the box. It's flicked clear, and then Perry on the edge of the box finishes the clearance for Reading. Kept alive by Cankovic, though. She then dinks it over, looking for Kerr. Diving header and diving clearance from Hendricks. Kept alive by Cuthbert. Cuthbert now driving towards the byline. Her cross hits a Reading player. Another Chelsea corner it is. I think Reading are going to be making a substitution as well. I don't think Brooke Hendricks is going to be able to continue. You can see a Reading player getting warmed up on the sideline. We may play this corner before that change happens, though. So a corner from that far side in front of the stands that are filled with fans. What, 15 minutes remaining here in this game. It's fired towards the penalty spot, cleared by a Reading player. Another Chelsea corner. So Chelsea corner again from the same side that it was just taken from, on that far side. And the ball is swung in. Grace Maloney comes out, misses the punch. Reading partially clear it. Still with Cankovic with her pink boots. She opts to go all the way back to Maren Mjelde. Mjelde, right-footed pass to Perisset. It's now in with Sophie Ingle. Plenty of space midway inside the Reading half in the central area. She lofts it out to Cankovic. One-touch pass is cleared from the box, but Cuthbert keeps it alive. Lovely ball around the corner. It's now with Kaneryd. Kaneryd's cross, it's a Reading player, Chelsea corner.
Cuthbert and Ingle got so much time when they do pick the ball up in the midfield area. There's no Reading players coming out to put any pressure. They've got time to get their head up, take their time and pick a pass. It's so easy, and Reading are just inviting that pressure.
They really are. They're just sitting so deep, Reading, and like you say, no pressure on those players. If you give those players time, they're gonna pick a pass.
Yeah, that recent pass from Ingle, I think she had 4 touches before she actually picked a pass. That's how little pressure there was.
Wrighton with the delivery. Sam Kerr with the volley. Blocked. Cleared. Only so far as Kaneryd. She goes back to Mjelde. And again, no pressure on Mjelde, so she takes a couple of steps forward, slides it in to Charles. One-touch pass to Kaneryd on the corner of the penalty box. She finds Wrighton. Wrighton with the left-footed in-swinging delivery. That's headed clear. Picked up by Cuthbert on the edge of the box. Sets it to Ingle. Ingle one-touch pass back. It's now with Niamh Charles. She finds Guru Wrighton. Chelsea barely out of first gear, but they're really controlling this game. Charles, she plays it out to Carnarid again on this right-hand side up against McCandy. Drives to the byline, whips it across, low ball in. Cleared by Reading. Bit of a hacked clearance though. Throw in for Chelsea, and there's been a goal at the Broadfield Stadium. Paul Scott, which way has it gone?
It is Brighton 0, Leicester 1. Ava Baker, the substitute, in the 73rd minute. There was a corner from the right-hand side from Jade Nevin. It wasn't dealt with by Brighton. Baker able to hook the ball over the line from close range. Brighton 0, Leicester 1.
Thanks, Paul. There's also been a goal at Prenton Park. Maz Faruqi.
And it's gone the way of United. She did it on Sunday off the bench. She's done it again. Lucia Garcia with pretty much her first touches of the ball. The first a bit of a miss hit, but then the second a great strike into the back of the Liverpool net. They are keeping the pressure on Chelsea. Still not enough though, as you know, Flo. Still, and now it's Liverpool 0, Manchester United 1.
Thanks, Maz. Whilst we were away there, Jade Moore came off for Reading to be replaced by Tia Primer, another academy product from Reading. Another change as well. Trollskard is coming on to the pitch. She is replacing Brooke Hendricks. She doesn't look like she's able to continue. She looks like she might have picked up an injury. The physios are on looking after her.
And Hendricks is holding her hamstring, which is never a good sign.
Definitely not at the end of the season. So we've got 12 minutes remaining here. Then it's Reading 0, Chelsea 2. Let's get another update from Meadow Park with Chris Coles.
Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2. 14 minutes to play, and Aston Villa looking very good value for their 2-goal advantage. They nearly got a third. Substitute Simone McGill firing over from close range. Not seen a great deal from Arsenal in this second half. They're still looking okay for Champions League qualification, even though they trail Villa by 2-0.
Thank you. And in East London it is West Ham 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2 as well. So Chelsea have a throw-in. Brooke Hendricks is coming off the pitch. Looks like she, as we said, has picked up an injury. Trollskard replacing her. Kelly Chambers giving a few words of encouragement to her before she goes onto the pitch. I can see Emma Hayes in front of me in her technical box. Looks very relaxed. Chatted to one of her assistants. Just another classic day in the life of Emma Hayes. Another trophy. Whatever.
Another one to add to the collection.
So Chelsea throw in then. Up with a corner flag. It's thrown into Chankovic. It's back with Ingle. Ingle under a bit of pressure goes back to Mjelde, who swings it out in field to Magda Eriksson. In the centre circle, under no pressure, she plays a crossfield ball to Perisset. Perisset to Chankovic. Good close control from her. Under a bit of pressure goes back to Ingle. A bit more pressure from the Reading players now. Fired forward. It's now with Carnarid. Carnarid plays a neat 1-2. She then lifts it into the box. It's over all the players. At the back stick there was Niamh Charles, brings it down, plays it around the Reading player, but plays it out of play for a goal kick for Reading. And let's go to the City Academy Stadium for an update from Tom Gale.
Manchester City 3, Everton 0. It should be 4. Remember, Arsenal are losing. City trying to close the goal difference, which currently stands at +6 in Arsenal's favour. Khadija Shaw, she's already got 2 for the afternoon. 1-on-1 there, just dinked her effort wide of the far post. We've got 12 minutes left to play. Man City 3, Everton 0.
Cheers, Tom. We've got 10 minutes to play here. Reading 0, Chelsea 2. Reading heading for relegation. Chelsea heading for another league title. And Reading really, as we said, Jenna, really run out of puff, haven't they, here? Although they've brought a couple of players on who are showing a little bit of fight.
Yeah, brought some, as you say, another academy graduate in Primer. Brings energy, fight, which, you know, you want to be seeing that from your leaders, but it's too late to be showing it now in the last game of the season against, you know, a Chelsea team. You need to be showing it every game of the season, and they haven't, and that's why they are where they are for Chelsea. I don't even think they've got into second gear yet.
Yeah, and to be fair to Reading, it's not games like this which have caused them to get relegated. You expect to lose to the big sides. It was losses against the likes of Tottenham last week, for example, against Leicester City, against West Ham. It was those sides where they couldn't pick up points. That's why they're getting relegated.
Yeah, and I think the game last week, both teams were fighting for their lives at that stage, and it was only Tottenham that actually turned up on the day.
Reading player heads the ball back to Grace Maloney. Serena Wiegman is here watching on. Carl, our producer, tells me. A couple of England players on display. Lauren James, of course. Niamh Charles also out there. Guro Reiten on the ball now. Although I wonder if Serena Wiegman's here watching some of the opposition players that will be playing in the World Cup against England.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly.
Sam Kerr, for example, for Australia, who are, I reckon, in my book, favourites for the World Cup, Jenna. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it could turn out that England will be playing Australia, and Sam Kerr obviously plays week in, week out, trains against England internationals. Millie Bright will have to mark her every day at training, so we'll know what she's good at, what she's not good at, if there's anything that she's not good at.
Chelsea playing the ball around the back, and as they do that, let's go to Tom Gale, who's got an update for us.
Another goal, Flo, but for Everton. Man City 3, Everton 1. Ball wide right across everyone in a sky blue shirt, and Lucy Hoke tapped into an empty net. This pretty much probably does finalise that Arsenal are going to be confirmed in the Champions League. There's no way City are going to rack up the goals here. Man City 3, Everton 1.
Thanks, Tom. Arsenal fans will be pleased with that update. Champions League football is what it's all about. Arsenal and Chelsea both went deep into the competition this season, both losing in the semi-finals. Arsenal a little bit, unfortunately, right at the end of extra time period. And we want to see our English teams going far, don't we, Jenna?
Yeah, we do. And I think that Arsenal team, that game was phenomenal. It had everything, didn't it? And I think given what Arsenal have gone through this season, their core spine ripped out with injuries, key players with injuries, I still think they've done really, really well, to qualify as it looks like they will be for Champions League next season. I think maybe today they've just, as you say, run out of that puff, run out of that depth of squad, but they had the depth of squad at the beginning of the season. They were just so unfortunate.
Talking about deep squads, Chelsea making some substitutions. On comes Melanie Leupolz to replace Sophie Ingle, so two world-class players. Chelsea just have such strength in depth, such winners, experience all across the pitch. They're also bringing on Olympic gold medalist from Canada, Jessie Fleming. She's coming on to replace Scottish international Erin Cuthbert. Fleming, who's been playing more of a deeper role for Chelsea this season. I've been impressed with her whenever I've seen her. And also we're going to see Jess Carter coming on to replace Magdalena Eriksson, and I feel a little bit like Emma Hayes is doing this so that Magda Eriksson can say goodbye to the Chelsea fans, all the fans in the stadium on their feet to applaud her. She turns, looks at the fans, applauds them, high fives with her players. She is a massive part of why this Chelsea side have been so dominant recently, and she's looking like she's about to win her 4th WSL trophy. What a player, what an honour it's been to watch her in this league, and we wish her all the best wherever she goes next, Gemma.
Yeah, she deserves this moment. You can see what she means to the Chelsea fans. She's been colossal at the back for Chelsea so many seasons and captained her side to many, many titles. She's going to be a massive, massive loss for this Chelsea team, but she deserved that moment. Really special.
Oh, and Katrin Berger's messing around with the ball in her own box. She manages to grab it off Trosselsgaard before Trosselsgaard embarrassed her a little bit. Chelsea just a bit too relaxed there, but they're coming forward already. Sam Kerr keeps it in by the corner flag. Slides it through to Charles. Charles in the box from a wide angle, hits it across the face of goal. Maloney dives cat-like and claws it out.
That was a fantastic save. Two Chelsea players lining up to header that home.
And again a save there from Grace Maloney. You're listening to Reading Chelsea live here on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Sounds and all around the world on the BBC World Service. We've got 4 minutes remaining. Reading 0, Chelsea 2 is the score. Let's go for an update at Prenton Park. Maz Faruqi.
Still Liverpool 0, Manchester United 1 here, Flo. Only 82 minutes on the clock though, and another pause in play. Gemma Bonner this time, the Liverpool player, gone down, requiring some treatment, but that strike from Lucia Garcia from the right making the difference at the moment for Manchester United. They're pushing Chelsea all the way on this final day, doing everything they can in this WSL title race and leading here 1-0.
Thanks, Maz. Yeah, props to Manchester United this season, who've done a marvellous job, Mark Skinner, their manager, to take this Chelsea to the very last day.
Yeah, they have. They've been on the tails, but, you know, leading the league for so long and, you know, done their bit again today in the title race. They're winning, they're picking up points, they're winning games that last season they'd settle for a draw.
Long ball, Sam Kerr's through on goal. She's by the penalty spot, hits it against the post, but finds the goal with the follow-up. Chelsea have a third, and it is Sam Kerr. She made it look easy. Chelsea are going to be WSL champions again for a fourth successive season, Jenna.
Yeah, so it's always going to be Sam Kerr, just to seal the deal. Almost like she had too much time with the first attempt. Tried to pick the bottom corner, but then she's there. First to react again, and she slots home it, bringing the WSL title home once again.
Over to the Chelsea fans she ran to celebrate. What a play. That's her 29th goal across all competitions this season for Chelsea. Wonderful goal. She tried to hit it with the outside of her foot past Grace Maloney. It went off the post, but she was quickest to the follow-up, quickest to the ball ahead of the Reading defender and the Reading goalkeeper.
She had a lot of time though to pick that first attempt with the outside of her boot, carried it into the penalty box, unopposed again, no challenges flying in. And as you say, always the first to react.
And you've got to feel for Reading as well. They are going to be relegated from the Women's Super League. And while Chelsea celebrate, Reading will be commiserating each other. 90 seconds remaining then of this game. Chelsea have the ball in their own half with Jessie Fleming. She goes back to Maren Mjelde. Loops the ball forward, headed back in field by McCandy. Chelsea have it with Leupolz, the German international. It's found the feet of Cankovic. Cankovic slides it through for Kerr. Can Kerr get a hat trick? She's up against Maloney, hits it off Maloney, and it's in the box. Reading clear. Reading escape there again, Jenna, just about.
Yeah, Maloney did well to get a hand to it. It took the sting out of the ball, which was heading to Guru Wrighton.
Corner it in the box for Chelsea. A couple of step overs, flags up for offside. Reading have a free kick inside their own penalty box.
I think the Chelsea fans want one more.
Well, Sam Kerr is on 29 goals across all competitions this season, so one more would make it 30, which is a nice round number. That's what you want. But I don't think she's going to get it. We've got 30 seconds remaining, and I think our referee Rebecca Welsh might show leniency to Reading and end the game without playing too much stoppage time. 15 seconds remaining. Chelsea have it. Jessie Fleming fires it forward. Maya Keith with the headed clearance. Rolls over the halfway line, only for Niamh Charles to collect. She goes back to Jess Carter, a player that we'll probably be seeing for England in the World Cup. As the fourth official announces there will be 1 minute of additional time at the end of this first half. So Chelsea with a throw-in in front of the Reading staff. Kelly Chambers, her hands behind her back, her side, staring down the barrel of relegation here up against Chelsea. Free kick for Reading for a late challenge on Trollsgaard. There'll be just enough time to take this. Chance to get one last WSL goal, perhaps.
I wouldn't never say never.
So Reading free kick then. It's in the Chelsea half. It's midway inside. They've sent players forward. It's Deanna Cooper over the free kick. The players all on the edge of the 18-yard box. One player in the Chelsea wall. One hand up from Deanna Cooper as she plays a good ball towards the back stick. It's flicked on off by the head of Jess Carter, and there is the full time whistle, the Chelsea substitutes run onto the pitch. Chelsea are WSL champions for a 4th successive season, and they've done it in style, winning here by 3-0. A brace from Sam Kerr, a goal from Guru Wrighton. Chelsea are champions. Reading are relegated, Jenna.
Well, I don't think it was ever in doubt. I think this Chelsea team today, really professional job, been in total control. You've got to feel for Reading, but take nothing away from Chelsea. Thoroughly deserved. And WSL champions yet again.
Full time here, it is Reading 0, Chelsea 3. So the stadium now, the stands are out to set up the stage so Chelsea can get their trophy. Plenty of Chelsea fans here on that far side in their blue with their flags flying. Chelsea in their golden kit. They are champions again, and they showed this afternoon again why they're champions, Jenna. They looked like they never got out of first gear, really.
No, it was more like a training game for them. I think, you know, as you say, they've been in this situation so many times before. They don't panic. They believe in each other. They believe in Emma's game plan. They have that trust, that quality. There's leaders throughout. There's leaders on the bench. I mean, you're looking at the squad. There's so many captains of countries there, you know, and it was never in doubt today. As you say, it was easy in the end for them to secure the victory.
And this as well, they got 58 points. They finished on 58 points. That's more than the past 3 seasons when they won the WSL. And it's interesting because I've heard a bit of discourse this season about Chelsea not being at their best. But again, at the end of the year, they're still champions, Jenna.
Yeah, it's a sign of a good team, isn't it? They've not necessarily been at their best for many games that they played this season, but they find a way, and they do it every season. They have players in Sam Kerr. She was brought in for big moments. She sometimes, this season, has had really quiet games, but she steps up when it matters, and she has been that difference for them again this season.
So Chelsea have done the double again, 3rd successive season they've done that. They're over in front of their fans, getting the plaudits as the stage is being set up for them to have the trophy. Reading, on the other hand, they're on the left-hand side of the pitch. They're in a big circle. It's been a difficult year for them in the coronation year. It's been a bad year for the Royals. The men's side relegated from the championship, and now the women's side relegated to the championship. Where do Reading go from here?
It's a sad day. You hate to see it. It's a really sad day for the women's game, and obviously Reading, who've been in this league for so many years. It's, you know, they've got to hold on to the players. They've got to stay together, and they've got to look to get back as soon as possible. But that even that, getting out of the championship now, where there is so much investment in teams, you know, teams going full time, will they have the finances to back them, to support them through that? I don't know.
Commiserations to Reading, and I don't think Emma Hayes will take any pleasure in relegating Reading and Kelly Chambers. She's very supportive of other managers in the league, so I think she will be sad to see them go. But it is Reading who have been relegated from the WSL, and it is Chelsea who are champions. I'm trying to get eyes on Emma Hayes as well. Let's get details of all the other scores around the ground then. So let's go to Maz Faruqi at Prenton Park.
We're into the first of 5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this second half here, Flo. Still Liverpool 0, Manchester United 1 because of that Lucia Garcia goal in the second half. But the Manchester United fans to my left, very muted, very subdued. They know the full-time whistle has gone with you, and they know that whatever happens here now, that WSL title is out of sight. United, though, still leading at the moment.
Thanks, Maz. And with Reading losing, Leicester City have escaped relegation. Paul Scott's there for us.
Yes, it is Brighton 0, Leicester 1. We're into 7 minutes of injury time at the end of the 90. Brighton pressing for an equaliser. The only goal of the game came in the 73rd minute. It was the substitute Ava Baker hooking the ball home from close range after a corner from Jade Nevin wasn't dealt with. At the other end, we had to wait until the 87th minute for Brighton to have their first shot on target. Leading scorer Elizabeth Turland shooting straight at the goalkeeper Janina Leipzig. The story of the day for Brighton is their 5 long-serving players who will be leaving the club in the summer, including the likes of Megan Connolly, Victoria Williams and Kaylee Green, who's just been announced as player of the match. Williams has played over 100 times for the club. She's a second-half substitute. It is Brighton pushing for the equaliser, but Leicester leading by a goal to nil.
Thanks, Paul. And there's been a goal at the City Academy Stadium. Tom Gale.
Full time as well, Flo. Full time, Man City 3, Everton 2. All the goals coming in a thrilling second half. Man City had to throw the kitchen sink at it in order to try and trouble Arsenal. They went 3-0 up thanks to Lauren Hemp and a brace for Bunny Shaw. The Jamaican setting a club record 20 goals in a WSL campaign. And you started to think maybe, just maybe, something incredible was on. But the sting was taken out of the atmosphere as Everton got their consolation. Lucy Hope tapping home unmarked at the back post, and an added time there, Leonie Mayer, the German substitute, netting from a tight angle. The game also saw Izzy Christiansen's stellar career come to an end just after an hour, substituted to a standing ovation. So it's no Champions League football for Manchester City. Full time, Man City 3, Everton 2.
Thanks, Tom. But Arsenal will have Champions League football next season. They're playing Villa today at Meadow Park. Chris Coles.
They will, Flo. Yes, we are 5 minutes into 9 added on here. Even though Arsenal are losing, their significant goal difference advantage coming to their rescue. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2. Villa on the attack. That's easily held by the Arsenal goalkeeper. And Villa, they've been excellent. Rachel Daly's 22nd of the season just before half-time, bundling home from a corner. Alicia Lehmann got the second just after the break. Good finish under the goalkeeper. And Arsenal, well, they've offered threats here and there, but nothing sustained. And you suspect a long season, which we know has been heavily injury-plagued, perhaps catching up with them. And it's looking like Aston Villa's day to cap off what has been an excellent campaign for them. They are leading Arsenal by 2 goals to nil, and we have 4 minutes of added-on time to play.
Thanks, Chris. Elsewhere as well, West Ham 2, Tottenham 2. I don't think full time has been announced there just yet, but we're here in Berkshire, Reading, the Select Car Leasing Stadium, where Chelsea have beaten Reading by 3 goals to nil to claim a 4th successive league title. Reading relegated, and we can see Kelly Chambers, the Reading manager, who before the game had a standing ovation and then a tunnel created for her to celebrate her 20 years at Reading. She's done so much for this club, so much for women's football. A tough day for her, Jenna.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad to see her out there now, given so much, given a lot of her life. You know, a football manager's job, it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. She's given her a lot, and you can see her wiped in her eyes. A really emotional day. She's given everything, and, you know, gone beyond what you'd really expect from a team, given their financial backing over the years. But I think this season was just a push too much for, given the amount of investment other teams are pumping into the teams, and really unfortunate that what's happened with the men's side, and it has a knock-on effect with the women's team.
And she's Reading through and through, been there for 20 years. But I wonder, will WSL clubs be looking at her? Tottenham need a manager.
Yeah, I mean, she's kept the team in the league. When looking at their squad that they have, the finances that they have, you wouldn't really back them to stay in the league. So she's done a superb job. She's got the experience. She's lived and breathed it. And my heart says she'll probably stay. You know, she's been with Reading. She is Reading through and through. I can't see her leaving.
2 people that are leaving, though, are Chelsea's Magdalena Eriksson and Pernilla Harder. Eriksson just shy of 6 years at the club. She scored last week in her final home game of the season against Arsenal. Today, her 184th appearance for Chelsea. 11 goals scored. Today is her 12th trophy for the club. And Emma Hayes said Chelsea will always be her club. It will always be her home. She will forever remain a legend of this football club. But a new era then for Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely is. I mean, just going back to that 12 cups in 6 seasons, that's some record, isn't it? And, you know, Eriksson's been massive for this team. London is her home. Chelsea's been her home for so long. But for me, I think Chelsea, you know, you're already seeing in the news, they're already looking ahead. They've got their recruitment done. What they've got here is a foundation of a very good team. They don't have to go out and buy lots and lots of players and try and breed them into the team. They have a foundation and they just add to it. There's not that much disruption each summer. players come and go, but they don't. You see teams that have a really high turnover. They don't have that here. They recruit sensibly and they bring in quality season after season.
Pernilla Harder as well, leaving, as we said. Today was her 81st appearance. She scored 44 goals for the club, and that's actually her 8th title in a row. She won 4 with Chelsea and 4 before at Wolfsburg, so she's a real winner. And I believe we've got Vicky Sparks down. We've got Vicky Sparks down on the pitch, hoping to get some post-match interviews. But let's go for full-time first at Prenton Park with Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, not enough for Manchester United, Flo. 1-0 they've won here at Liverpool. The goal, the winner, just as it was 6 days ago from the substitute Lucia Garcia. But this wasn't United at their best today. They knew very early on that events at Reading weren't going their way. Liverpool perhaps deserves something from this game. Rhiannon Roberts with a chance that she should have done better with late on. A season of firsts in so many ways for Manchester United has just ended with a tinge of disappointment despite winning 1-0 here.
Thanks, Maz. So Manchester United second, and they'll be disappointed, but coming into this season, if you'd have told them that they'd have pushed Chelsea all the way and got second, I think they'd been pleased, Jenna.
Yeah, I think they'll be disappointed because they were at the top of the table for so long. But I think they can be proud. I mean, they've done so well. They've only been in the league really 4 seasons. So to be where they are today, finishing second in the WSL, is a huge achievement, and they'll kick on for it. They'll learn from things this season, they'll grow, and no doubt they'll bring in more experienced players for the new season.
Although Alessia Russo, who knows if she'll be there next season for Manchester United, yet to sign a contract. Just had a round of Chelsea from the Chelsea fans in the stands. The stage has been set up. I can see the WSL trophy from here, although it's quite far away. We're up in the sky here, so I might have to get my binoculars out and have a look. But before we do that, let's go for full time at Brighton. Paul Scott.
It has finished Brighton 0, Leicester 1. Job done for Leicester, and what a turnaround for them under Willie Kirk. They will be playing WSL football next season. They have survived despite not picking up their first WSL points of the season until January. They took all 3 points in this one thanks to a 73rd minute goal from Ava Baker. Brighton only had 1 shot on target. That came in the 87th minute. For the home fans, it's a fond farewell, the final lap of honour, a chance to say goodbye to Megan Connolly, Victoria Williams, Kaylee Green, Megan Walsh and Danielle Carter. All long-serving players are leaving the club in the summer, but both of these sides will be playing WSL football next season. It's finished Brighton 0, Leicester 1.
Thanks, Paul. So Leicester City women make the great escape to stay in the WSL. Over to their men's team tomorrow on the final day of the Premier League. Let's also get full time from Meadow Park. Chris Coles.
Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2. A defeat for Arsenal, but not a damaging one. They have Champions League football next season. Their significant goal difference advantage coming to their rescue, and they did need it because Aston Villa thoroughly merited their victory. Rachel Daly's 22nd of the season just before half-time. Alicia Lehmann doubled their advantage with the second just after the break. Good finish under the goalkeeper. Arsenal didn't really do enough, and their long season, which has been dominated by several high-profile injuries, perhaps catching up with them at the end of the day. And it's Aston Villa who are celebrating a fine end to a fine season. They've beaten Arsenal 2-0.
Thanks, Chris. Now let's see if we can bring in Vicky Sparks, who is pitch side for us. I can see her just giving her away. Vicky, what's the atmosphere like down there?
Well, do you know what, Flo? It feels like a home match this here for Chelsea because their fans have travelled in such numbers. The opposite stand across from me, as I stand here pitch side, is just full of Chelsea flags, Chelsea shirts, and they're getting ready to watch their side lift the WSL title for the 4th season in a row, their 3rd double in a row, of course, after beating Manchester United at Wembley earlier this month. And Chelsea's dominance in the domestic game at the moment cannot be overstated. They have now won 5 of the last 6 WSL titles. It went down to the final day once again, as it did last season, but they are so good when they get in these positions, Emma Hayes' side, and they saw it through. And these Chelsea players lined up in front of me, and there you can see the away contingent roaring like a home crowd as they prepare to lift this trophy. Dominance once more under Emma Hayes, her 15th trophy this will be, and here we go, the moment is approaching. Flo.
Yep, Emma Hayes collecting her medal. She set up this Chelsea dynasty. She kisses the WSL trophy as she walked past it and goes onto the stage. The players now going to collect their medals. First of all, Sophie Ingle, as we said, a player who's been at the heart of the Chelsea midfield for so many years now, Sophie Ingle. She collects her medal. Erin Cuthbert as well, the tenacious Scottish international. She gives a kiss as well to the WSL trophy and a high five as well to Emma Hayes. Guru Wrighton now going up to get her medal. You said earlier, Jenna, maybe your player for the season, Guru Wrighton.
Yeah, 100%. I think she got given player of the match again today. Gone unnoticed seasons before, but I think you can't hide from her stats alone, her assists and goals. And I think her and Sam Kerr have really built a really strong connection this season.
Sam Kerr's got her medal as well and gets a hug from her manager. 29 goals across all competitions this season for Sam Kerr. And she gives a roar to the crowd as well. What a player she's been since signing from them. They wanted to get a mega star, a world-class striker, and they got that in her. Melanie Leupolz now also getting her medal. Came back from maternity leave during this season, slotted right back in, no problem, Jenna.
Yeah, unbelievable turnaround, wasn't it, from giving birth and starting a Champions League semi-final. Incredible.
A great player in midfield for them as well. The Chelsea fans in the stands around us cheering, waving their flags. It's a lovely afternoon as well. Here, hugs between Emma Hayes and her players. She's got such a tight-knit squad. She always talks about how it's not just about the football players, it's about the people, and she's a great people manager.
Yeah, I think, each player is an individual, and I think she takes time to get to know them as people first, and that's really important. I think that's where some clubs get it totally wrong, and they don't treat players like individuals, but you can see here the love that her players have for her.
And she just shows how important that is. She's created a team of winners, not by being a disciplinarian, but by creating a group of players that fight for each other, that back each other.
Yeah, and makes every single player feel valuable and important, and includes everyone. She rotates her team. You need, when you're competing domestically and on the European stage, you need every single player to be ready, and players perform best when they're happy, and we see that.
And this squad deserves the trophy, the whole squad. It's not just the first 11. They played the most different number of players across the league. They made 30 changes more than other teams week on week. They had 16 goal scorers across the squad. It's a real squad achievement.
Yeah, it is, and that shows that every single player that they have in their squad, that Emma Hayes trusts to step up and fill in. You can rotate that team, and it's taken years for her to get to this point, to have a squad so deep that any player can start on a given day, and the levels, the standards never drop.
Pernilla Harder now getting her medal, as we said. She'll be off at the end of the season. Gives a wave to the Chelsea crowd. Got a couple more Chelsea players coming up to take their medals. Vicky, what's the atmosphere like down there?
Yeah, well, huge cheer, the biggest so far, although there was a pretty big one for Sam Kerr, but for Pernilla Harder, what a servant she's been to Chelsea over the last 3 years. So prolific for them as well, scoring at a rate of just about 1 goal every 2 games. And what a huge impact she's made this season as well. It's not the season she would have wanted. Of course, she's missed most of it through injury, but it was her introduction in the FA Cup final, coming off the bench, that really made the difference for Chelsea. She's been a huge part of this double this season.
Certainly. Up comes Kadisha Buchanan, who's missed the latter part of the second half of the season through injury, but she very much seems to be the player that Chelsea have brought in to replace Magda Eriksson.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously been a bit unfortunate with injuries, but not a bad first season with a new club, is it? 2 trophies in 1 season, but yeah, I think her and Millie Bright will be the future of that Chelsea backline.
Definitely a massive cheer there goes up as Lauren James comes to get her medal. What a great English talent we have. I cannot wait to see her in the World Cup. She gets a big hug off Emma Hayes, and you just feel like she's going to get better and better each season.
Oh, she is, and I think this is the stage she belongs on, and hoping she's going to light up the World Cup in the summer.
Fran Kirby, I think, down there as well, getting her medal. Announced earlier that she has extended her contract for another season at the club. She's really suffered with injury, but as we said, this Chelsea side supports their players, and they supported her through her injuries, through her illnesses. They've given her another contract, and she's a talent, man.
She is, and that's the right thing for clubs to do, to stand by their players, support them. And Kirby, when she is fit, she's a massive part of this team, so I'm not surprised that they've extended her contract and they are supporting her in the way they do.
Millie Bright getting her medal. We've just got Magda Eriksson, then the captain, to come and get hers in a moment. Millie Bright, though, also been injured at the tail end of this season. Looks like she'll be back for England in the World Cup as Magdalena Eriksson claps the Chelsea fans, gives a big hug to Millie Bright. Those two have been the heart of Chelsea's defence for all these years. I think Millie's going to miss Magda so much. Magdalena Eriksson then picks up the WSL trophy. She's carrying it over. Gives a high five and a hug to Emma Hayes, a real partnership, manager and captain, Emma Hayes and Magdalena Eriksson. And Magdalena Eriksson, captain of Chelsea, lifts the trophy. Chelsea are WSL champions. Off go the pyrotechnics, the fire, the fireworks, the Chelsea fans cheer. This Chelsea side, once again, are champions. The champagne is flowing. A wonderful team that's saying goodbye to two top talents at the end of this season. But tonight, they're going to celebrate, Jenna.
I think there'll be some party tonight. Unbelievable. I mean, you can't help but have goosebumps here watching it, and what a way for Magda Eriksson to leave her club. 2 trophies, lifting the trophy one last time. Phenomenal career with Chelsea, and yeah, again, Chelsea are here. They're pros at this game.
Year on year, a new challenger comes in. It was Manchester City, Chelsea beat them. Last year it was Arsenal, Chelsea beat them. This year, Manchester United took it to the final day, but it is Chelsea who have the silverware. We've got Vicky Sparks down on the pitch for us. Vicky, talk us through.
I tell you what, they are drowning in blue streamers down here, Flo. Magdalena Eriksson and Millie Bright wiping the streamers away from that silver trophy, wiping them away from their eyes. And I'm sure there'll be a few tears being wiped away from the eyes of Magdalena Eriksson as well. 6 years she's been here. As you mentioned earlier, this her 12th trophy that she wins with Chelsea. Captain since 2019 as Chelsea lift the trophy high into the air and their fans celebrate in kind. She's been supreme. Chelsea have been supreme domestically this season.
The Chelsea players taking turns to lift the trophy up. Sam Kerr, Lauren James, this is probably a familiar feeling to them, and they're a partnership as well, Sam Kerr and Lauren James, that every WSL fan will just love to watch for the years to come.
Oh, 100%, and every WSL player will hate to play against them in years to come.
Yeah, WSL fans of other teams actually probably won't want to see them.
No, absolutely not. Deadly duo.
A deadly duo, and there's just no weakness to this Chelsea side, is there?
No, and that's a good team, isn't it? And that's, you know, you're looking at the squad there, the leaders, the captains of their own countries that they have. It's not just one leader carrying the team, there's leaders throughout, and that's the difference. And, you know, we talk about Sam Kerr again, but what a player she is. I mean, she also hasn't really been at her best in some games, but she steps up and she scores such important goals time and time again.
What a player, what a character. I can see Emma Hayes on the big screen waving to the Chelsea fans, letting the Chelsea players take the plaudits, celebrate with their fans, lifting the trophy up and down. The Reading players on the other side of the pitch, while Chelsea are jubilant, Reading look deflated. They are relegated. Kelly Chambers chatting to one of her backroom staff, just soaking in the moment, really. Sad to see them leave the WSL, but they just weren't up to it at the end. We will have Bristol City next season joining the WSL, and Reading will be in the Championship. As we said, difficult celebrations for Chelsea, commiserations for Reading. The Chelsea fans here, though, as we said, it's more like an away ground, really, isn't it, Vicky?
It is indeed, and I think you've called that contrast perfectly, Flo. I mean, there are Reading players still standing around in the sunshine on the left-hand side of the pitch, and you know, now the inquest starts. How do they shape up to life in the Championship? What will be the future of Kelly Chambers? Of course, we saw before this match, didn't we, the guard of honour that was afforded to her. Over 20 years of service to Reading, first as a player, then as director of football and part of the coaching staff, and then as manager since 2014. It's such a long association that she has with this club. But Reading, who for so long ticked along in the WSL, didn't they, after their promotion, now have to face up to life in the Championship and where it will go for them. And you just wonder, looking at the Reading players who have remained to watch Chelsea lift this trophy, how different this season could have been for them had Deanne Rose have been fit, the Canadian Olympic gold medalist. And it just summed it up, really, didn't it, when she had to go off after 33 minutes in the first half of this game. It was just too many things that went against Reading this season, and not having a player as big as her was one of them. They've got to contemplate now what next season holds for them. But this is Chelsea's time to celebrate, and they're doing so still over there on the far side of the pitch across from me in front of their fans. They don't want to let this moment go. They want to soak up every single moment. And Flo, I think you're going to have to drag Magdalena Eriksson and Pernilla Harder off this pitch at some point, because these are the memories of so many that they will take with them as Emma Hayes stands in front of the Chelsea fans and gives the trophy a big hug, and well she might.
Yeah, she was pointing at the trophy, mouthing mine, and it really is her trophy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something now that she has won 6 of with Chelsea, and the dominance that Chelsea have exerted over the women's game, particularly in the last few years, as you said, Flo, it all started with her, you know, back in 2012, and on this day, this sun-soaked day here in Berkshire, where they will celebrate this domestic double once again. You know what, I wonder, maybe not today, maybe she just will let it all soak in and enjoy the moment, but you know, thoughts soon will be already turning to next season, and that one, the elusive one, the European crown that they so desperately want.
Yeah, Champions League is definitely what Emma Hayes and Chelsea are after. They lost in the semi-final this year to Barcelona. That's what Emma Hayes is building. She wants to build a squad that can get to the final again of that competition and win that elusive trophy. But as you say, today they'll just be focusing on celebrating winning the league again for a 4th successive season. I can see as well Kadisha Buchanan, Chelsea player, has gone over to a couple of the Reading players on the other side of the pitch just to commiserate them. A nice touch from her. Difficult for Reading to have to see Chelsea celebrate, as they know that they're going down now as well. We're hoping that we're going to get a little bit of post-match with Vicky. I can see Pernilla Harder and Eriksson coming over to this near side, so they might be talking to other broadcasters, but Vicky's going to try and nip in at some point, get a little bit of reaction for them from us. And Jenna, just to bring you back in again, Champions League, Chelsea, what do they need to build and get stronger so they can fight for that competition?
I think this season, especially the second leg against Barcelona, I thought they were probably the better team for most of the game. That gap is closing, it is getting smaller. They've now played on these big stages, the players are used to it. I think Emma Hayes just has to keep improving, strengthening that team, which you know she will be doing, as Vicky's just said. No doubt she'll get in the car home tonight, maybe give herself tonight off and start again tomorrow, focusing on getting closer to that Champions League trophy. I think, you know, the final where they were run off the park by Barcelona previously, they were nowhere near it, but you see the growth and the fine lines in that match. They're not far off it at all. They're nearly there, and I don't think Emma Hayes will rest until she has her hands on that.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Jenna. The Champions League final, which is being played next Saturday, Barcelona, Wolfsburg, fighting for that trophy. As we said, Chelsea and Arsenal came close, both in the semi-finals, both didn't quite make it. Sam Kerr also coming to this near side where the broadcasters are to give some interviews as well. Kadisha Buchanan jogging back to the Chelsea players who are on that far side in front of the fans, soaking up the celebrations, enjoying it, taking turns to lift the trophy up as well. And let's go back to Vicky Sparks, who might be about to get Sam Kerr.
She's gone to Australian television, and can we blame her, Flo? But I'll see if I can nick her right after she's finished with Mark Schwarzer. But what a player. And again, you know, Sam Kerr scores big goals. 2 today, the winner in the FA Cup final, 29 for the season, 12 overall in the WSL. You know, this is a player who's won the Golden Boot in this league in back-to-back seasons. She won't take the accolades this season, but you just wonder if that galvanised her a little bit at the end of this season. She's won the Football Writers Award again for the second year running, and you know, I think that there were questions around that. Obviously, we've had players in the WSL who've had outstanding seasons, Khadija Shaw, Rachel Daly, for example, but Sam Kerr kind of noted that. She's aware of, you know, the conversation that was going on around that, and since she's won that award, she scored twice here to help Chelsea wrap up the title on the final day, and she scored in the FA Cup final as well. She is a huge player for the huge occasions, and I'm sure Australia will be so excited, leading them as captain, as record goal scorer, as they head towards this World Cup that they are co-hosting with New Zealand in the summer.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, for a lot of the Chelsea players like Millie Bright, like Lauren James, she goes from teammate to opponent in the summer.
Exactly, and it's one of these things that, you know, Australia could come up against England depending on who wins and who comes second in various groups. And of course it was Australia and Sam Kerr's side who ended England's unbeaten run under Serena Wiegman as well. So it's going to be absolutely fascinating because, you know, she's proven this at club level, but she is a game changer on every stage, and Australia will hope she can be that in the summer. And as you say, you know, the Chelsea players, the likes of Millie Bright and, you know, Lauren James will hope that it's not to be. But you wonder if the fact that Sam Kerr plays in the WSL, I mean, when you know about a player's game, knowing about them and stopping them are two different things, but she will be coming up against so many players that she knows so well, not just teammates of course, but opposition as well, and it'll be fascinating to see how that battle unfolds at the World Cup this summer.
I can see as well in front of us Pernilla Harder and Magdalena Eriksson just giving interviews to other broadcasters, and they were just soaked by Jessie Fleming throwing water all over them there as well. I don't think the broadcasters will be that grateful for that, but Chelsea have won it. They can do what they want, celebrate how they like, and we will have Sam Kerr shortly to interview. Excited to hear what she has to say after this game. Oh, such a cool character, Sam Kerr. Still chatting away to Australian TV. And as we say, we hope that the Chelsea players like Millie Bright will know how to defend against her in the summer in the World Cup to give England a chance. England have got a number of players out injured, of course. Leah Williamson won't be there, but that gives opportunities to players like Jess Carter. Chelsea's Jess Carter came on today at the end, and she's one for the future, one that we hope will be playing for England in the summer and for Chelsea for years to come as well. So Sam Kerr still chatting away while
I'm like a sprinter on the starting blocks, Flo.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
I can see you there just lingering.
Do you know what?
there.
She's still covered in streamers. She's got one on the back of her left pink boot. The celebrations from that trophy lift that Chelsea have just celebrated in front of their fans. As she shakes hands with Mark Schwarzer and let's see, oh no, she's going the other way. She's going the other way.
Oh no, Vicky.
No, she'll be back. She's got so many commitments. But huge, just joy still of the Chelsea players that haven't come over to do their media interviews as Sam Kerr heads over to television, that, you know, down there in the sunshine, they just don't want to let go of this moment, Chelsea, and it is the culmination of so much they've worked for. And I think we have to praise them as well, because we touched on the Champions League there and the fact that they went out to Barcelona, which was so hard fought, but mentally they regrouped, they maintained their form domestically, they came off the disappointments of that and were able to close out another domestic double. And of course these are players that are hugely experienced, but you still have to praise them in that they've been able to keep that focus and keep that form on a domestic level. And let's not forget, they only went out by a goal on aggregate to Barcelona, and that's no mean feat in and of itself.
Yeah, and it's interesting in a way, and I feel a bit maybe why people underrated Chelsea this season was because they had so many games in hand, because they went so deep in the Champions League, in the League Cup, FA Cup. They had so many games in hand, so they were never really top until the very end, which is why I think a lot of people were thinking, oh, maybe Manchester United will get it. But when Chelsea got those games in hand, they just dispatched of the opponents so easily. That still was an 8-0, a 7-0 against Leicester City and Everton, just to get that goal difference above Man United as well.
Yeah, and it's another element that comes down to mentality, doesn't it? And you mentioned the goal difference there, Flo. I mean, at one point, that looked insurmountable in terms of Manchester United's advantage in that. But, you know, Chelsea go and score 13 goals in 2 games, and they held their nerve against Arsenal. But, you know, we're at Reading, of course, we're focusing on Chelsea. But a word for Manchester United, who have been absolutely outstanding this season as well. Pushed Chelsea all the way in the FA Cup, of course, losing the final at Wembley, took the title race down to the last day, and it really doesn't feel like it will be long before Manchester United do win their first major trophy in their history. And again, only reformed, of course, in 2018, but they're a side that have built well. They've put together a very good squad. Mark Skinner has to take a lot of plaudits, and of course they've made history this season. Yes, it hasn't been a trophy, but they've qualified for the Champions League for the first time in their history, and that is absolutely huge. You were saying earlier, Flo, about the futures of players like Alessia Russo. Having the Champions League to hold out as Chelsea do and Manchester United do and Arsenal do, just about, you know, the goal difference getting them over the line in the end. But you wonder what will happen to Manchester City, because the Champions League is the holy grail. It's a cliche, but in many ways it is so true. You know, this is why players from the USA in particular for years and years would come and spend 6 months at a time at Lyon over the time where they could win the Champions League. It is huge to be able to offer European football, and that is a big step in the evolution and the development of Manchester United.
Yeah, and as I've got former Spurs captain Jenna Scalacci here with me, I just want to bring you in as a player, Jenna. Will that hurt Manchester City in terms of bringing players in, not being in the Champions League?
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, all the best players, like Vicky said, will come here to play Champions League football. They're not in it this year. That will definitely affect their recruitment and the type of players that they will attract and bring in. Again, the gap may get even bigger now with Manchester United, Chelsea and Arsenal in Champions League, and the players that they will attract because they want to play the Champions League football.
But I wonder if next season, in terms of challenging domestically, maybe not being in the Champions League will be a benefit. Although I say that, and they weren't in the Champions League much this season because they didn't get through the qualifying round.
Yeah, they've never really got going, have they, when it comes to Champions League? Knocked out very, very early. I mean, they can just focus on the league, WSL, and getting back into the Champions League next season, but they may lose players in the summer. They had a lot of change last summer, didn't they? They did have good form, but they just didn't have enough to secure the place in the end in the Champions League.
Are we any closer to grabbing a player, Vicky?
Hopefully. I can see Sam Kerr. She's being dragged away from Sky, but she's being dragged away to go and celebrate in front of the Chelsea fans. Do you know what? We are going to try and bring you reaction here on Fire Sports Extra, but you can understand this. The players, they don't want to talk to us. They want to be over there in the sunshine celebrating in front of their fans. But I'm sure Sam Kerr will be back, and she's pulled away by Niamh Charles. They're all taking turns to lift the trophy again. I can see one of the fans in the crowd has got an inflatable trophy as well that they're lifting with the players. But just on the Champions League and particularly the qualifying stages, this is still going to be a very interesting weekend for Chelsea, because the German title will be decided tomorrow. It's between Bayern Munich and Wolfsburg, and were Bayern Munich to win the German title, which they are in pole position to do, they're at home to bottom club Turbine Potsdam, they're 2 points ahead of Wolfsburg. It would be a similar shock to if Reading had beaten Chelsea to win the title here. So you'd expect Bayern to win it. If Wolfsburg can upset Barcelona, then that means that Chelsea, even though they're WSL champions, will have to play a qualifying round to get into the Champions League next season. They will not go automatically into the group stage unless Wolfsburg win the title in the Champions League, or unless Barcelona win the Champions League. Now, Barcelona are favourites, we know that, but they were favourites in the final last season against Lyon, and Lyon managed to overcome them there. So it's one of these for Chelsea that we are talking about the draw of European football, and of course that's going to be huge when it comes to the transfers. But really, you need to get through to the group stage for that to really take root and embed. And it's not guaranteed that Chelsea will be going straight into the group stage.
Yeah, and those early qualifying rounds, like this season, for example, Manchester City met Real Madrid, and they lost.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of these things that people might be sitting here listening and thinking, well, how on earth is that the case when, Chelsea and Arsenal have got to the semi-finals? It's because of the coefficient, the access list. England at the moment, based on historical results over the last few years, when English sides haven't done as well as other sides from Spain and France and Germany in the Champions League, they're currently fourth, so they basically need to get bumped up by one of the champions of Spain or France or Germany winning the Champions League, which of course could be either Barcelona or Wolfsburg. So we'll see. I mean, that will change, obviously. Arsenal and Chelsea both getting to the semi-finals. You'd expect England to creep up the access list fairly soon as well, but we'll see for Chelsea. And as you say, those qualifying rounds, they're not easy at all. You get some very good sides in there as Erin Cuthbert comes wandering over now. Which way is she going to go? Guys, it's like almost watching a Maisie dribble down the wing from Lauren James, and you're like, which way are you heading? Let's see.
I'm rooting for you, Vicky.
Cuthbert? I'm looking hopeful. She's got a medal around her neck. She's covered in blue streamers. And we can say hello to Erin Cuthbert, champion of England once again. Erin, you're live on 5 Sports Extra. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Feel relieved at this point in time. It's been a long season. I don't have a World Cup to look forward to, so wanted to give it my all with the club this year, and just delighted to walk away with 2 trophies.
You put yourselves in pole position going into this final day once again. There just seems to be something about the mentality of Chelsea, as it was last season, when you get to this stage. If you've got your noses in front, you're ruthless, you're relentless, you don't let it go.
Yeah, I think, in the last months we've really turned it on a little bit. I feel that something's clicked between us, but we've sort of been waiting for it all season, if you like. But I think the daily behaviours lead to this point. I think what we do in training, the competitiveness, we're pushing each other every day. We've used the squad more than ever this season, and that showed with our freshness in the last couple of weeks leading into the season. And maybe when teams are fatigued a little bit, we know how to turn it on, and I think we've done that the last couple of weeks, and we've just shown our true quality and shown why we've become champions.
Talk to us about Sam Kerr. 2 more goals today, scoring the winner at Wembley in the FA Cup final, 29 for the season. Big game player or just big player?
Just big player, everyday player. We see Sam scoring in a small rainy night away during midweek, as we do in the FA Cup final. So Sam doesn't just turn it on, Sam does it every single day, and she's my best mate for a reason. I love her behaviours every day. I love the way she acts. She just knows how to switch it on. She knows her true professionalism, and she just has such tunnel vision. She wants titles, and she'll do anything she can to achieve it.
Hey, where's the backflip celebration though?
I know, I think maybe her back's hurting for doing it all these times, but I don't care. I really don't care how she celebrates. If I tried that, I know that for sure I'd absolutely break my neck, but I know I'll let her do the backflips, and she can score the goals as well.
And in terms of big players, I mean, we've got to mention Pernille Harder and Magdalena Eriksson. The perfect way to send those 2 off with another double, your 3rd in a row.
Yeah, it's 3rd. I think it's my 4th in a row.
As in for the team, that doubles in terms of winning the FA Cup and League. Yeah, doubles. Yeah, 4 title in a row. Won't take that away from you.
Yeah, good. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I think, Magda and Pernille, first of all, have been tremendous servants to the club. I've learnt a lot from them. I came as a young player, and Magda, I think, came 6 months after me. So we've been here through the journey. We've done it all together. We've cried, we've laughed together. We love each other, we hate each other. That's how it goes in the relationship. And we even had a little word in the changing room because we're shouting at each other during the game. But that's sort of the standards we expect from each other, even when it's 3-0. We want to keep pushing and going for more goals. So I think it's a great title for them, and it's a brilliant send off in Pernille as well.
Erin, thank you so much. Congratulations. Erin Cuthbert, live here on 5 Sports Extra, down pitchside.
Thank you, Vicky Sparks. More reaction on 5 Live later. So Chelsea are WSL champions yet again. They've beaten Reading by 3-0 here. 2 goals from Sam Kerr and a goal from Guru Wrighton. A final word from you, Jenna Scolacci, on Chelsea. Deserved winners at the end of the season?
100%. They've done it again. Just pure class. And I think that interview there with Cuthbert was a really, really good interview. As she says, it's daily habits, day in, day out, that get them to these moments. The standards are high. The standards never drop, even when they are in tough moments. They have that quality, and well deserved champions of England again.
So Chelsea, champions of England for a 4th successive season. Manchester United in 2nd. Them and Arsenal will be joining Chelsea in the Women's Champions League. Manchester City miss out in 4th. Aston Villa beat Arsenal today. They're in 5th. In 6th is Everton. 7th, Liverpool. 8th, West Ham. 9th, Tottenham. 10th, Leicester City. 11th, Brighton. And relegated from the WSL after 8 years here is Reading Women. So that is everything for us on 5 Sports Extra. This has been a PDI media production for BBC 5 Live.